His name is Kal-El, but the world will know him as Superman. This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight. Superman, the movie.
That was fantastic censorship, by the way.
Dude, would you imagine if I told you that this was taken from 3 different trailers?
I believe it. To this day, I'm still a little weird that they were so cavalier about like toddler peen being in the movie, but
yeah. Dude, I kept like censoring because I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get a problem with this or not, because you never know with YouTube.
Yeah, they're very, very weird.
Oh,
but how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. What about you? I hope you're recovering well. I hope you're drinking some tea, though.
No, actually, I got a Alka-Seltzer shake right next to me, so that's what I got going.
What? What the
Alka-Seltzer? It's a medicine. It's like little tablets that you drop into water, and it's got like medicine built in, and it like turns it into like a club soda kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never heard of that.
I would say that I'll send you some, but that's a weird thing to send somebody. Hey, would you like some medicine?
Yeah, sure. Why not, man? Depends if it's legal or not. Just give it to me.
It helps a lot of things. According to Rennie's saying it helps an upset tummy, but actually the one I have is for congestion. So plop plop fizz fizz. But so we got a lot of people. So let's just let's get them in quick, and then we'll say hi to the chat and all that stuff. But speaking of Rennie, I'm going to get her in first. You know, she's a regular to this channel, and apparently she has a hat now. How you doing today, Rennie?
Doing well. How are you guys today?
You know, good. Still, I'm recovering from the COVIDs, but you know, it's what I got to do.
Hell yeah. I mean, I couldn't do this without him, so he's forced to be here.
Yeah. Actually, I think you could have actually started this because of the way that StreamYard works. I think you could have started it. It would have pushed it to my channel, and I just wouldn't have been involved. It would have been a weird thing.
But said, hey, everyone, Stark Hour's channel. Yeah, so solo ho or one ho.
Yes, solo ho. That's how you got the name Solo.
I like solo ho. That's funny.
How are you doing today, Rennie?
Doing great. How are you guys, other than being ill?
Yeah, you know,
pretty tired actually. But
my life has had some weird changes recently, but I'm not going to go into that because this movie's too good for that stuff. I don't want to drag it. I don't want to drag it,
man.
So yeah, I guess we'll bring in our next guest. Everybody in our chat should know this guy. He's kind of like the godfather of this channel, which is funny because he doesn't have his godfather picture up, but we have the purveyor of the best YouTube channel that I can think of that has, you know, I'm not really doing a good job here, but he's the reason why this channel exists, because he actually introduced me in Uninspired, and that's Mr. Brown. Hello, Brownie.
Hello there.
I fumbled my notes there a little bit. I was my vision is not as clear as it should be. I'm sorry about that.
That was a very very nice introduction. Thank you, my friend.
I tried. I was like reading, and I was like, shit. I lost my place. Okay, I'm just gonna wing it now.
That's why my friend. You on, Mr. Brown.
It's great to be here. It's genuinely great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on, man. I've wanted Mr. Brown to be on for a while. So.
One of my very, very, very rare occasions of guesting. Perhaps I'll address that in the new year. Hello, Chad.
Yes, Mr. Brown is more often than not a host. So
he's a cryptid. Yeah, Mr. Brown.
Actually, right now,
I will do my very best not to go into presenter mode. So tell me,
it's okay if you slip into it from time to time. It's fine. We actually have a first timer coming up. She had stepped in because another one of our guests today was in and out, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to nail him down, but I had an alternative, and that is from the channel is Ms. Martin's Muses, Teresa Martin.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I got myself some coffee, and I'm ready to talk some Superman.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, you really like stepped up to the plate immediately. I was like, "Hey, are you available on this day? Because we might have a dropout." And you were like, "I'm in," and I was like, "Okay."
Oh hell yeah!
Hey Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you on the Superman stream that we did on Browns?
Correct, I was. Yes.
Okay, I was like, I want to say that's right, but my memory is not so good right now.
That's okay. My brain cells have gone a long time ago. I saw this in the cinema as a little girl, so this is really something special for me.
Oh, nice. Well, it's great to have you on, and it's a pleasure to being on two hosts for the first time to have you on.
Yay! Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, we actually I had contacted Teresa a while back and asked her if she'd be interested, and I was like scheduling out a bunch of stuff, and a lot of the things she wanted was like so far in the future. I was like, nah, I'm going to get you on as much earlier than that. And I was glad that this came up for you. So it's good to have you on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. And our last guest for today.
May I do the introduction?
You may,
Brown.
Mr. Brown.
You
know
said.
what? I'm going to allow him to do this one because this is like his voice.
And last, I know this off by heart. Watch me fluff it. And last, but by no means least, he is the wise elder of somebody's channel. He is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz, and I fluffed that. Hello, Ian.
It's okay.
Right. Yeah, you did. You fluffed it.
I did. Paid up member of the Self-Reduce Appreciation Society.
Yeah. Trust me, the way I'm feeling right now, I was glad that Brownie took that because I would have flubbed that up really badly.
Right.
Look at that cute avatar, Ian. You're so cute.
I love Christmas.
Ugly.
I love Christmas. As much as I love Superman, I love Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas and Superman go hand in hand. It's actually it came out like last week. What was that? 40 years ago at this point? Or 35 years ago? 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Made under a lot of controversy. You know, there was a lot of problems making that film, but I guess we'll get into it as we go along.
45 years.
45 years. Yeah, sorry. I'm not
1978.
I'm not good at math, people.
I'm with you, Dark Hour. I'm with you. But Mega Geek, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. Again, last time you were on was Blade, I think.
Oh yeah, Blade. Yep. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully I don't black out for 20 minutes and come back without the slides.
Yes. Let's not have that happen again. I can only imagine us trying to stretch out for the intro again, being like, the way the colors just popped off the space background were so great. Anybody love space? Anybody love stars?
Well, hello, chat. How's everyone in the chat doing? We hope you're all doing well. Thank you for spending two hosts with us, of course. Well, your, I guess, Saturday matinee, is that what we call it, Dark Hour?
Yes, the Saturday matinee, and we haven't done anything else yet. So as of right now, this is all we have. But we do have our first industry interview coming up soon, which I made an announcement about last week.
Yeah,
and that's going to be Kevin Altieri, most known for his work on Batman the Animated Series, is going to be joining us for about an hour to talk about his career. So really looking forward to that.
Yep, and
very nice.
Oh yeah, and well, I guess we'll go around and ask everyone what their experience is with Superman, and just a quick thing. So I guess we should start with I don't know, who should we start with?
Let's go with Rennie first.
All right,
we'll go clockwise, starting with Rennie.
Okay, well, you guys, I'm not sure if I told you this, but my dad was a huge Superman comics fan. So he started me on the Superman show, like the old reruns with George Reeve. And then, of course, the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. No relation. But I have loved this movie ever since. And when they came out with the extended version, I loved it even more. But, Christopher Reeve is the epitome of the truth, justice, and American way. At least that disposition of Superman. And I don't know, I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's just awesome, and it always puts a smile on my face. I always enjoy watching this movie.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that about Christopher Reeve. He definitely embodies the real, the true feel of Superman.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, he is Superman.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and well, Mega Geek, I guess you've stepped away for a second, so we'll come back.
Fine.
To you,
Brownie was next anyway, so.
I think my first experience of this movie was I was probably still at school, and it was Christmas time in the lecture theatre. They wheeled out the television set, one of those on wheels with the doors that opened. And we were treated to Superman, the movie, on the the good old VHS days, and that was the first experience. Could hardly see what was going on, but it's such a great movie. I watched the movie today, and it's movie making from a different era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can tell.
Maybe they just need to make movies like that nowadays. I don't know. I think possibly gone the other way. I don't know. Such a great movie. Christopher Reeve. What can you say about Christopher Reeve? Just fantastic.
Oh,
Such
yes,
a good
he
movie.
is. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that pretty much sums it up right there.
For really, it's such a great movie.
You're not leaving much for Teresa to work with, but we'll give her a shot at it.
Well, as I've said earlier, that I saw it when it first came out. I also had been exposed to Superman, the black and white show. It would be on reruns, and I remember watching it with my grandmother along with Star Trek reruns, and the whole, it's a birds that playing at Superman. And when the movie came out, I remember being very excited and really loving Christopher Reeve, though I recall being a bit bored because it was very, very long. But I just was in awe of Superman and him flying. So it really has a place in my heart. And I said that with the opening sequence, when it just goes Superman, those things just stuck in your head. And so when we see later, they do all of the iconic things with Superman, with Christopher Reeve. He's faster than a locomotive, all of those. I just loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well. That would leave our friend Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek, who I have a feeling this is going to be good, everybody. So
What?
now you're usually pretty good at this kind of stuff. So
Well, I'm old enough to have seen it in the cinema when it was released. I had tonsillitis at the time, as I recall, but it didn't stop me from going to see it. I saw a clip from it on News at 10, which is our news bulletin we used to have over here. Everybody used to watch News at 10. And they showed, because they have "and finally" at the ending of every news bulletin. So "and finally" was basically Superman the movie's been released. And they didn't show obviously any flying clips. They showed a bit where he lands in the street and spins in the pavement.
Yeah, down into the concrete.
Yeah. And I just thought, I've got to see this film. I literally got to see this film. Because in those days, there weren't, access to what's happening in the movies there wasn't any access really, or
less magazines.
Yeah, it was just Starlog or Starburst or
Clapperboard.
Yeah, or Clapperboard, which was a kids film review thing. And so we whatever we got. And then I remember seeing it in the cinema, and I was just interested. I just thought the whole thing was terrific, apart from the ending, which I had a problem with, and the portrayal of Lex Luthor, because I was so much into Superman. I thought the portrayal of Lex Luthor was just really bad, and I didn't know who Otis was or Miss Teschmark. I don't know where they came from because they weren't in the comics. But again, I'm a Superman fan at that time, so I had problems with that. But apart from that, the movie was fantastic. I was in Fulham Road Cinema, and when he saved the helicopter, people stood up and cheered. They actually stood up on their, they actually stood up like a play or something like that, and they started clapping when he saved the
cool.
helicopter. Yeah,
wow.
And we all sat, because we're British, we all sat down again, composed ourselves. But it was pretty awesome film, and also. I was just amazed. Obviously, Star Wars came out before that, but I was just amazed how they made him fly. I was like, geez,
Yeah, because the effects were different compared to Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was a whole new. It was a whole new ball game at that point.
And also, the scenes that always stick in my mind is him running faster than the locomotive, him, pushing that door when he first meets Lex Luthor, and he just looks like Superman right across the board. There's nothing about Christopher Reeves that doesn't say he's Superman at all. From the classic costume with the underpants, which I think is absolutely great, and it's a crime they've taken it away now, to the colors of his costume, to the curl on his head, to the size of Chris Reeves. Obviously, he was the right size to
Even his demeanor.
yeah, exactly. Everything about Chris Reeves said that he was born to play this part, and he actually looked like the drawings. So
Yes.
I just thought the film was terrific when I first saw it, and I loved the score as well. I brought the album
Same here, I've got it.
immediately. So yeah. So anyway, that's what I think. that's my experience with Superman. Put it that way.
Just a little opinion on the movie.
It's a great movie, but as I said, there are problems with it. Like as I said, even at that age, I thought spinning back the world. If he spins back the world, wouldn't people die? You know, it's like, you know,
there
if
is
you went
when we get
backwards-
to that, there is some
Yeah,
debate
some
as to whether or
saying,
not
but-
he's spinning the world backwards or if it's a perception thing as to whether he's
There's
going
a-
back in time. There's like a
Huh?
like, you know, so
Yeah.
But in
But-
the film, it literally says that he spins back the world because you actually see him going around and the Earth moving backwards. So you can only come to that conclusion that he's literally spinning back the world, which everybody will die, obviously, if he did that. So it's just little things like that that kind of really peed me off slightly. But apart from that, it's a brilliant movie. You can't fault most of it, can you? Really, The fantastic Smallville scenes were just heartbreaking. I thought when his dad died, even though we didn't see much of him on screen.
we'll get to that later. Don't worry.
Oh no!
yeah.
Jumping out ahead, Ian. Jumping out
No,
ahead.
I'm just saying he's a legend, right? And what's his name? Who Ford?
He's
I can't remember.
a
Glenn
legend,
Ford.
that guy that
Glenn
I can't
Ford.
remember.
Glenn Ford.
Glenn-
Well, the thing is, you don't remember him because you're not as old as me. So you know, I've seen him in loads of movies. So there you
These
go.
were were massive, massive stars.
Actors,
Yeah, they were.
Which gave
Yeah.
it gave the film credibility.
Yeah, Phyllis. What's her name? Phyllis. I can't remember her surname. She was massive as well in the 40s.
Phyllis
And,
Baxter.
Yeah, Phyllis Baxter. She was
Gene
a huge
Hackman.
star. Gene Hackman. Yeah, I mean, what's his name? Who
Ned
played,
Beatty was as well. They're all
Ned
Big
Beatty
big
was
stars.
a big comedy star. He was in Deliverance. Do you know what I mean? So it was a film they were really serious about trying to bring Superman. And if it wasn't for Donna, this film would have been like Batman. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know, you got to take your hat off to Donna. There you go. He made it work. And then they fired him. But that's another story.
That's a story for another day.
Exactly.
Well, I guess, well, since it's Dark Hours channel, well, I'll do me next. Then, well, my first experience with Superman was when I was a kid. My dad had it on, I think, VHS, and I just watched it, and I was amazed because he always told me that as a kid he watched it and he really, really liked it. Well, not as a kid, as a teenager, and he just wanted me to experience it. So it was one of those first-time movies where my dad sat me down and said, "You have to watch this so we can experience it together as father and son."
That's
So
nice.
yeah. It was really, really cool. I enjoyed it.
son.
Yeah. Well, he made me discover Star Wars alone, so I'm thankful he made me, watch Superman with him. And to this day, he still really loves it. The last time I watched it was, well, apart from yesterday, the last time I'd watched it was about 6 or 7 months ago, because I just felt like watching Superman randomly one day. And so, yeah, I really like the movie. I do think it has some problems, but it's very hard to find a film like this, even of that era, even of the 70s, something so uplifting and campy, but not too campy to the point where you're put off. It's a perfect blend of everything. And just to precise, the only version I've seen is the 3-hour cut, so I've never seen the theatrical version or anything like that. And
The
so, yeah,
TV version you're talking about.
I
Right,
guess.
that was 180 minutes long, would you believe, that version?
Yeah, that's the only version I've ever seen.
All right.
3 hours,
Good.
8 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, the reason why they did that was because they wanted more adverts, because they showed it on TV. It was a special version, wasn't it? So they wanted more adverts. ABC wanted more adverts in the film so they can gain more money, and that's why they had a deal with the producers, didn't they? So yeah,
Yikes.
crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, at least we got more footage for the movie.
yeah.
Because even with those 3 hours, I do think that it flies by very, very quickly.
It does.
Agreed.
It's surprising. But yeah, that's it for me. So Dark Hour, what about you, man?
So I can't recall the first time I watched this movie. I know my father showed it to me when I was younger, but I can't recall how old I was. And as I've gotten older, I've gained a greater appreciation for the first one. When I was a kid, I didn't like the first one that much. I like the second one a lot more. And a lot of people share that opinion that the second one is the superior film, especially the Donner cut. But as I got older, I realized, I was able to frame myself in that, sort of this was all very innovative for the time. And that's how ever since then, I would say this is probably the movie that made me kind of get that idea of how to look at movies, how to look at films, is to put yourself in the situation of the era. These were very innovative effects. There was a lot of, like it was mentioned before, a lot of people that were big names playing relatively small parts. And that it was kind of like, even from the beginning, the onset of when they set up for the second movie before the first movie is even really kicked off is fantastic. It was like doing like MCU stuff in the 70s, which is pretty cool. And so that's, I don't know, I share a lot of the same opinions as everybody else has said, but that's really the thing that stands out to me is that, it's one of those films that over the course of time has really warped my sense in a good way, warped my sense around what I should and shouldn't look for and what I should appreciate.
The thing is, though, in those days, it was the norm, because if you watched all the old Hollywood movies, like, for instance, those Jesus films, they always used to put big stars like John Wayne as the Roman soldier in that, I can't remember that Jesus film, whatever. They always used to do that. So it was the norm. And plus, Superman wasn't the first film to make 1 and 2 back to back. The Three Musketeers, which is the same producers, they did that. They made 1 and 2 together, didn't they? And they successfully completed that. So 1 and 2 did came out. First one came out one year, and the second one came out the other. It was like a way of trying to save money. So it was kind of the norm, really, in those days, to get big stars to play small parts in movies. So yeah, it was
nowadays that would bankrupt a studio, because the amount that people
RDJ getting paid like 10 million for 8 minutes. That would bankrupt anyone.
Yeah,
I feel like Hollywood back then was a lot more like, hey, this director, this producer did me a favor coming up, and I'm gonna give it back to them and like do this kind of thing for them. I don't think that happens quite as much as it used to.
They wanted to make money as well.
Well, I mean, they would still make the money, obviously, but like for now, like nowadays, I don't think as many people would take those like cameo roles just for the sake of it as you might have gotten back then.
Yeah, because the agents now become powerful and the producers are more powerful as well. And also remember, in Hollywood, it's a way of life, earning millions, isn't it? That's why they're so threatened now. That they're really threatened about the independent sector as well, because of what obviously the whole playing field's changed with movies. So now they're really threatened. You can't make movies of that amount of money anymore, because you just lose the money. So it's this is the reason why they all went on strike. We want our millions. We want to still make our millions. That kind of thing.
I mean, like current day Hollywood, it's kind of like making film is the most accessible it's ever been. However, having producers actually put your film in cinemas is the hardest it's ever been, which is crazy, because all the unknown people, like look at Sam Raimi and all of that back in the 70s, 80s. These guys were just dudes with a camera, and they were like, fuck it, $5,000 budget, let's do it. And they finally get shown in the cinema. Today, you can barely do that, even if you have a budget of, let's say, 200, 300,000. It's very hard.
It's changing now because of the fact of the YouTube community, and also the TikTok community as well. So a lot of people of our age, we go to the cinema, but a lot of the young people, they're stuck on their phones. They'd rather watch a 5-minute TikTok thing rather than go to the cinema and pay attention for 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? It's becoming widespread, isn't it? So everything's changing now, so I don't know.
But why don't we get into the actual movie and the clips and stuff?
Superman.
That would be good.
Dark Hour, you want to do a couple super chats just before we start?
Oh yes, there are a few already. Yes, let's start out with them. So, my buddy Blue Collar Loser for $5. But watch the replay. Dark Hour is fine. Okay, I'm glad that you decided that for me. He's like the Man of Steel. He just needs to adjust to Earth's atmosphere, and he's weak right now. His powers will return. Honestly, I have a lot of atmospheric allergies, so no, I am very unlike Superman. The atmosphere does the opposite to me. And this one, I want Rennie to read this one.
No. Hell no. Die Hard on Christmas is apparently my kryptonite. Not so much, but it is like a very it's like a skin irritant, so to speak, when people really fight to call it a Christmas movie. So I'm like, if Bruce Willis said himself like years ago, that it is not a Christmas movie. You must accept and move on.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bruce Willis was only the actor in the film, so it doesn't really matter what
He's
he
John
says.
McCain, bro.
It doesn't matter what he says, does it?
Shut up,
Really?
And I hate you.
And
Oh my
another
gosh.
one just came in from our buddy RRTNZ
Hey, man.
for 20 New Zealand dollars, which I'm not sure what that translates into, but
This is Lord of the Rings
Probably
money, man.
like
yeah, it's
10
Lord of the Rings.
American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. Either way, I would have read this if it was for zero. Loved this movie when I saw it in 1978. Reeve's performance, Donner's direction, and the soaring score elevated to above 99% of films, despite the silly time travel DEM. I don't know what DEM stands for.
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex. Okay, Deus Ex Machina. Oh, look at that. Here's a donation for Russ's Xmas. Hope you're better soon. I hope so too. I've been fighting this off for a few weeks. Thank you for your kind donation. And I that will be probably going towards my medications. That's where that will be going. We'll come back to. I have a couple of other starred chats. We'll come back to when they're a little bit more relevant to what we have on screen.
All right. Well, I guess we should hop into it. So the version I have the clips of is the 3-hour cut. So if you guys aren't familiar, don't worry, I'll guide you through it. But yeah, so we start off with June 1938, and it's kind of a Action Comics magazine. The original Action Comics. I don't know if it's the first appearance of Superman, though. Maybe.
No, if I recall correctly, the first appearance of Superman was him with the car bashing the into the side of the mountain. That's Action Comics 1 that had, but it doesn't matter that this is the one that they used.
And well, yeah. So it's basically just a kid opening it and reading and telling us about the Daily Planet, and that the Daily Planet is a symbol of hope and truth in a dark period in Metropolis. So just good, because I mean, you know why Superman works there, I guess. Hey, and of course we get a Richard Donner film, of which, you know what? Let me play the clip. It's Superman, baby.
We can only play that in 3-second bursts, everybody, or we will get shut down. It's a shame too, because it's such a good song.
I know, right?
It just makes you want to get up and like run through a wall.
I don't know about that, but
it makes me want to get up and run through a wall.
Dark Hour tries to go to Hogwarts using platform 9 3/4, ladies and gentlemen. He just wants to run directly in the wall. Wow.
Oh my gosh, you should post a video of that. No,
me running into a wall.
Yeah, be like, I'm gonna go into platform 9 3/4 and just like take your
the
little
last
luggage
time
cart.
the last time I did a visual gag where I recorded it for myself was my very first video essay, which was about a year ago to the day. I kicked something and my shin blew up like a tick. It was a giant like hematoma on my shin for a good like 3 weeks. So never doing that again.
Oh, weak.
So we finally reached the planet Krypton, according to Marlon Brando, because he can't pronounce Krypton for the life of him.
I
know.
will say, if I may, the Krypton theme, I think, is the best John Williams piece of music ever.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty up there for me. But
The music and the flyover to the the court, so good.
Yeah.
What does everybody? One thing I want to say: what does everybody think of like the way they show Krypton? Because it's like obviously they use a combination of models and sets, but like I think the aesthetic is really awesome. Like all the crystals, all the. Obviously, we're going to be going through that. Yeah.
I think is it John Barry, the designer? He designed the he did designs for Superman. James Bond, and his style is he always has a slanting wall. So if you look at Moonraker, the wall's always slanting, and in this, the crystals are slanting when you see the wall. So that was his style. But his vision of Krypton was so vastly different to the comics that it just stinks of originality. You just look at it and you think, this is alien. So it's amazing. I take my hat off to him. He's gone now, but when he was alive, he was one of the best production designers ever, in my opinion. So yeah, very good.
I agree with that. Yeah.
How about you, Teresa?
I was just gonna say all of what you said, and then the way that they were all glowing, like that gave them an alien, yet at the same time a human look. Like they were different from us, but the same enough to.
It was
have
something
a
that we could grasp. It wasn't so like it was crystal, so it's something we've seen. They're just using it for something else. Is I think what you're kind of going for there.
Well, yes, and also the way that they themselves, like their suits and their clothing, the way it for the bad guys here.
They're later costumes that kind of look like aluminum foil or kind of
Scotch light.
They were free.
Well, you
3M,
see his little
weren't
Superman
they?
thing.
3M
is glowing.
Scotch light, yeah.
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 And they were
Well,
the
technically it's
same.
not Superman.
They were the same things they used for the back projection screens, wasn't it? It was the same thing because they knew it would reflect light out 10 times more if it was just being projected. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. And so so we're on Krypton, and of course we're assisting at the conviction of General Zod for his failed coup by the council who is behind him, of course. Council who terrified me as a kid. Seeing all the
but they're all famous people. That what were you saying about the cameos? They're all famous, British actors.
British,
British actors.
60s,
the Royal
50s,
Shakespeare
60s.
Company.
Yeah.
And
I will say
go on. Sorry, go ahead, Brenda.
when I saw this movie as a kid, I never got to see it on the big screen because I wasn't able to go watch it at the movies at that point in time, but I saw it on TV and those faces terrified me as a child. I'm like, they're mean. I don't like them.
The one thing I really like about this is that immediately when you see Marlon Brando, you know he's Superman's dad because he's got the white curl, he's got the hair, and he's got the white curl, and he's got the S on his chest. And you just know he's Superman's dad. So yeah, it's pretty. I honestly thought that was a stroke of genius. Tell you the truth, it really was. But,
I just wish they would have coached him on how to say Krypton. That's all. I just really wish they would.
Well, he was reading it from idiot.
That's right. Cue cards. Yeah.
God.
Because he can't remember his lines. He can never remember his lines. So, but he was really good at reading through cue cards because you never thought he was reading.
He's actually a good actor.
So good, Brando.
Yeah, because he refused to memorize his lines, right? He had to have cue cards or little like devices or little like hidden things with words on them so he could read them, right?
There's that story when he was in his film with Matthew Broderick, and Matthew Broderick was saying that he was talking to him once in a take or in rehearsals, and then he said, "Shut up, shut the fuck up," and then what you call it? And Matthew Broderick was like, "What?" And then he turned to him and he said, "I'm not talking to you," and he had an earpiece in his ear where somebody was telling him the lines in his ear.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was talking to that.
We have a slight correction here by Princess Fiona. It's Ken Adams, not Barry.
It's Ken Adams. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Princess. Sorry, mate. Sorry. You're right. Absolutely right.
And this is a legendary line from Tropic Thunder, but it applies to Marlon Brando. I don't read the script. The script read me.
Also, I love the thing he's holding as well. The stick with that glows.
Yeah, it's like
the edge glows.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
One thing I've always found funny, if you go back one slide, I love the aesthetic. Like they're like containment field has
the rings fantastic.
The rings, it has the aesthetic of like a hula hoop that's stopped going.
It's because it was.
It's an optical illusion. When it spins, it looks like they're both spinning on top of each other, but literally just going round in a circle. So it's an optical illusion. It's really, really well done, actually.
Yeah, that's somebody who's thought about it and made such a simple effect look fantastic for probably not a lot of money.
Yeah, it was probably really, really cheap. But,
and in those days, those faces were actually projected on a screen. Today,
you can tell.
Today it would be green screen, wouldn't it, or some kind of digital effect.
Yeah, they might not even green screen it. They might just it might have been like actually put in after the fact without even needing the green screen. To be honest with you.
Well, no, I think
it was projected.
No, all these were projected.
All these.
I'm saying modern. I'm saying modern.
Modern.
They might not even need a green screen anymore.
I will say, unfortunately, it takes you out of it now.
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah.
Well, I think gone the other way with CGI. Just gone
for modern, they probably wouldn't have used CGI. They would have probably used the volume and actually just had the LEDs of the faces. So it wouldn't be projection, but it would be like a modern version of rear projection.
Well, either way they do it, it's still projection. So it's computer generated now, isn't it? And in projection, obviously they can only go one way. With the new technology, when they move the camera, the projection moves with the camera. So it looks like they're actually in the environment. So that's the difference. But this is a fantastic scene. I love this scene. Really.
What's creepy is, like we were saying, they're terrifying. And
Yeah.
They are.
gosh, these kryptonites are terrifying. I don't know. They're harsh as
Kryptonian.
hell. I think
Yeah.
I'm judgmental, but oh my gosh.
That one, that fourth one, the one that's closest to the right of the screen, kind of looks like a little bit like Mads Mikkelsen right there for some reason.
Yeah, a bit.
That guy's got range.
But you know what? I think Rennie's right. Even when Terrence Stamp speaks, he's quite
Oh.
terrifying, isn't he? You know, he's
Yes.
very forceful and he's very, you know, he comes across
He's got
as
a
very
lot of
terrifying.
charisma on screen, man, and he just captivates every freaking
Yeah.
scene he's on. I love him.
Yeah.
Did
great.
was it 1984 that kind of nicked the look of the people in the background? You know, with the projections.
A little bit, I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How's that feel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Terrence Stamp is a legend.
One thing I will say about this
For
with
Zod.
one thing I will say about with Zod here, and it applies to a lot of things, but whenever you have someone as big as Non, who's that's the name of the bigger guy,
Middle guy, yeah.
yeah, who is listening to a much smaller individual, it automatically creates a degree of respect for that character. Because it's like, oh, he must be a real badass if that guy's listening to him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But the thing I liked about Terrence Stamp's portrayal as Zod is that you can see in his eyes that he means business, but he wasn't theatrical like the one in Man of Steel. The Man of Steel was very theatrical. Where did you grow up? On a farm and all that rubbish. And
I hated Michael Shannon.
Yeah,
in it.
But Terrence Stamp was very controlled, wasn't he? Even in the second one, very controlled. He knew he was in charge. You know, that kind of thing. But anyway, carry on. I just want to say that.
Yeah, at least like you can tell that he has subtlety in his performance. You know, I put this in the chat. It's like Michael Shannon is just, I will find him. It's like, yep, okay, relax, man. We understand. But yeah, so they actually Jor-El sentences them to the Phantom Zone, which is a zone that he created himself, and the Nappa Vegeta effect. Oh yes,
this is exactly what I was actually referencing. I was thinking of this while I said it. I think I mentioned it when we did our dodgeball stream too. That
you did.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so I've got the clip of them being banished to the Phantom Zone.
Oh, sweet.
That was also scary as F. Oh my gosh.
Forgive me.
They soon change their tune, don't they?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least Ursa does. I don't know. I can't really make out 100% what Zod is saying whenever I watch
forgive me.
He is saying it as well.
They all say
no, I don't think he's saying forgive me.
I don't think Zod says forgive me. He
No,
seems too angry because remember, right before he gets sentenced, he says something about Jor-El suffering. You and your ass.
Yeah, and, he'll make them all bow before him.
Yeah,
that's it. I literally just watched this.
Even if it takes him an eternity.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's wanting forgiveness. He's wanting revenge. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
All these people are well-known British actors, apart from I think the guy
Trevor Howard.
Trevor Howard's in front. I can't remember the other guy on the right. He's famous as well. The woman is famous on the left. I can't remember her name, but they're all well-established British actors, which is, you know, it just adds to the epicness of what they were trying to do, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah. Well, what a bunch of losers! Look at those looks of judgment. They're like, "You're wrong. You're wrong." And if you don't shut up, we're gonna send you to the Phantom Zone. What do you say about that?
Well, yeah, and it's at that point that you really think that, you know, maybe Zod had something going for him. Maybe, you know, it's understandable why he would make a coup, because these guys are literally faced with their doom in about 30 days. That's what Jor-El tells them. And they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. If you try and cause a panic, then we'll just banish you to the Phantom Zone too. It's like, oh.
Well, because the chick was like, I simply say that Krypton is just changing its course or whatever, just changing its orbit. And I'm like, are you serious?
My favorite thing about that line,
sorry,
by
Teresa.
the way,
I was just gonna say
What?
the science has spoken.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
don't
but she's
you get me
like, yeah, the
started on
facts are undeniable. It's like your claims that we don't. It's like, well, if the facts are undeniable, then his claims are supported
Yeah,
by those
it's
facts. Like, it doesn't
it's
make
so
any sense what you're
stupid.
saying.
Like, yeah, your conclusion doesn't make sense, but everything else does. Okay,
You
that
know,
seems personal.
you get the sense that they are a race of people that abide by the rules. That's the impression that I get, because like
Germans.
Jor-El could have escaped
Like
with his son,
Germans.
couldn't he? He could have
Mhm.
escaped with his son, but he promised that he would stay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
him and
didn't
his
promise
wife
that.
would stay.
Yeah, and so they accepted death. So they're kind of the whole race is kind of a very they look at life very differently.
They have to have order.
Yeah, I
Mm.
guess I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
No,
too,
it's sheer
like,
fucking hubris. That's what it is.
Shut up, Brown.
I was exactly going to say that. It's like the Kryptonians in the comics. One of the downfalls of their existence was that they were extremely arrogant and that nothing could possibly
That's
happen.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they do a pretty good job in this short amount of time we have here of explaining that.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
I think so too.
It does feel like a different movie in the beginning, though. Like, it really feels like
that was the whole point.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was the whole point. You wanted to make it in 3 parts. So epic, space opera in the beginning. He wanted to do an old-fashioned 40s on the farm thing, and then he wanted to do a comic book at the end, which is what he achieved. That was his goal, and he did it very well, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, here's something that the Neil brings up that you can see, because he says, notice how the movie doesn't overcomplicate the Kryptonian culture with colonies, so it doesn't raise questions to why they didn't evacuate them. It's like looking at you, Man of Steel. Yeah, I mean, even on Krypton itself, you can see different Hubbles. Kind of like the bubble that they were in. You can see that they're different ones situated all over the planet. So that just it's up to the viewer at that point to understand. And it's good because it doesn't just feed you everything you need to know.
And it didn't have a dragon to fly away, did they? Unlike
Avatar monster.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it? The Man of Steel stupidness. But there you go.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and this is when the council leaves, and we can see a bit of the set, which man, fucking great.
Ken Adam,
It's awesome.
Yeah, these slanting
Really
walls.
I love the way he does the caveat. Neither me nor my wife will try to leave. And it's like, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando should have just winked at the camera and been like, yes. And there he is.
Baby.
And this is
Aw.
who's the actress? 'Cause she's
Susanna
famous.
York, who was
Susanna
also
York,
massive.
yeah.
She was also massive.
And she was
in
beautiful when she was young.
Mhm.
Well, she's young there, but I'm just saying when she was younger, she was
Younger,
absolutely
yeah.
stunning woman. Fantastic
Yeah,
blue eyes. Yeah.
Oh, she looks good. And then so of course this is where Jor-El wants to send off, baby Superman. So baby Kal-El, of course, and that's the machine that they send him in, the contraption. To me,
It's a weird
honestly,
ship.
yeah, it kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Scooby-Doo live action, which I probably bring up every stream, weirdly enough.
Yes.
But there's a crystal ball on Spooky Island that looks exactly like this. So I can never unsee it, weirdly enough. But yeah, it's a weird design for a space shuttle, I guess. Escape pod. Yeah.
That little baby kept pissing all the time, didn't he?
I-
No, that
my
is true.
gosh.
But in behind the scenes, every time they try to put him in, he would sprout out a bit of water.
I mean,
there.
he was not in a diaper, so I'm not shocked by that.
But
All
yeah,
the technology of Krypton, and they can't possibly come up with the concept of a diaper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you've got the I think those things on the side, the big things, I think that's what it's an indicator of the electricity, I guess, in the room, because they do flicker a lot.
They do.
And that's when they mention, of course, the council mentions that there's an energy input in excess in Jor-El's quarters with this.
This
Yes.
is not in the normal version.
Yeah, this is not the
Oh.
theatrical
This is the
version.
extended version.
Yeah. it
Okay.
is. Yeah. This bit's been cut out because it was too long.
Well, so
But
basically,
we're putting it back in.
They'll put it back in. Yeah.
Well, so basically, this is just the council that says that there's the energy input in excess in Jor-El's quarters, so they have to go and investigate. So they send this thing in the middle. I have no idea what it is, but it's a man in a suit, basically, that flies to Jor-El's headquarters. But spoiler alert, he dies before he reaches there because Krypton blows up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's a 30-second scene max.
Mhm.
So
Looks like he's gonna dance.
He's about ready to break dance.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're like, forget about the sun that's about ready to blow us up. We have an energy surge where Jor-El is.
it's a party, ladies and gentlemen.
We think he might be leaving.
And yeah, so this is what I was talking about on Krypton, where you can see the in the middle one, that's where Jor-El and everyone else is,
Yeah.
but there are different cities all over scattered in the back. I guess cities are I don't know. Yeah,
Can I
go
pick
ahead.
a fault with the movie?
Go. Do it.
Wouldn't the planets be long vaporized by now?
Oh yes, with the sun.
Depends.
So it's
It depends.
taking.
It depends, doesn't
Not
it?
in this universe,
well,
sir.
yeah,
The
Has it got
science
an
might be
energy shield,
different.
or has it got an energy shield?
No, yes, I'm saying
or-
it depends, does it? The planet might have an energy shield that couldn't withstand it as close as that thing came. Or,
even a degree of being knocked off orbit would.
yeah, but it is a fantasy and it is super.
That's right.
So-
Moving on.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Suspend
disbelief
disbelief,
is
Brown.
good.
Suspend
I
disbelief.
mean, of all the things that Superman can do, this is the thing that this is it. This is it. The planet's a little too close to their star.
Yeah, they probably have like defense or something like that.
Well,
and,
well, if you want to go into like the actual science of it, they are closer to that star, yes, and I understand where Brownie's coming from, but it is a red star, which is a lot less potent than a yellow star that we're used
You
to.
just read Princess
true.
Fiona's comment.
Actually, no, I didn't read that, but now I see it. So like, thank you for supporting me on that one, Princess Fiona. But yeah, so like, you could actually, in theory, be closer to a red star than you. Than a
They're all
yellow
wearing factor 50. It's fine.
They're wearing aluminum foil that bounces all of the heat down. There you go.
true.
There you are.
And yeah, so we get a little look at Kal-El with all the shards around him that are gonna, educate him basically on his
That's
his
right.
voyage back to Earth, with the little green one, which will come into play sooner.
Again, why didn't they put him in suspended animation?
Because it's Superman and that's what they did.
Well, but
They're following the
but-
comics.
But later on in the film, Marlon Brando says, "I've been dead for many thousands of your
Yeah,
years."
but that's the computer just copying his essence.
Yeah,
Right,
but no,
not
but
the
he
voice.
says, "I've been dead for many thousands of
Yeah.
your years," and yet Clark Kent is what, in his early 30s.
No,
So-
no,
Yeah,
no,
but
No,
no,
he's,
I
he's 18.
So
He's
I
is-
always
18.
thought that, and I always thought that he was in some sort of like not necessarily suspended animation, but just kind of slowed down while he was in the spaceship. That was my justification to the whole thing.
No,
Because
if
when he
you-
gets to Earth, he's like what, 3 or 4 years old,
No,
maybe.
He's
if
12.
you-
Yeah, 3 or 4.
if
yeah.
you travel
Yeah.
faster than the speed of light, right, in the universe, obviously you go forward faster in time. So when he says he's dead thousand, it's relative, it's
Yeah,
a
keep
thing
the
relative.
interstellar
So, yeah,
logic
that's what I'm
in
saying.
mind.
So he was
Stephen
traveling.
Hawkins has just walked in the building.
I'm just saying
everybody.
he was traveling faster than the speed of light to get to the universe that he was going to Earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
he's
that's
going
true
at
as
warp
well.
or something.
So
Yeah, he went across multiple galaxies.
That's right. So effectively, he time
28
traveled.
known galaxies.
He time traveled. So
Yeah, so it took him
And they
3
do actually
years.
mention
specifically.
that because she mentions how primitive Earth is.
Yes.
And it's kind of implied that it's even like, yes, by their standards, we would be primitive even now. But like the way she says it is almost as if they're like in, like the Middle Ages or something.
Well, no, because it took him 3 years to get there. That's what they say
Yeah.
specifically.
Apparently, you go slower in time. The universe moves at the same speed.
Yes, yeah, that's the relativity of
Yes.
light speed.
So it's
And that's the
possible.
first. And if you notice, that's the first thing that he mentions in the
Einstein's theory of relativity.
Einstein's theory of
Yeah.
relativity is actually something that is universally accepted amongst the 28 or 29 known galaxies.
That's
He
what I'm saying.
mentions
So
that.
basically, he'd But according to the law, it was Supergirl that left the planet first before Superman. But we won't get into
That's
that
right.
one, will we? We won't get into that one. There you go.
And so he sends the baby off, of course, which boom into space. And meanwhile, here I've got a clip, but there's no audio, so we can talk over
Very
the
s-
destruction of Krypton and
Very
just
Space 1999.
compliment all the stats. But yeah, this
Yeah,
is
let's just walk
pretty good.
really slow while that everything is.
Well, I mean,
destroying
where
around.
would you want to go, anyways? You know,
Exactly, exactly.
I love it. Yeah, they had it coming.
Yeah.
and it's
That's
great
right.
to see how
Sheer
big the sets are.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Mm-hmm.
I love this comment from Max from I don't know how to pronounce Vroomfondel.
Vroomfondel.
If you go faster than the speed of light, you end up in Camden, New Jersey. That is a horrible place to end up. Having been to Camden, New Jersey, plenty of times in my life, that's one of the worst cities on the planet.
Yeah, and visit some of the cities in England, mate. Tell you that's nothing.
I'll put Camden up against most of those.
Romeo Tango November Zulu makes a very good point, which is what I'm trying to.
The script
Yeah,
contradicts
it
the time
does.
travel issue later when Luthor tells Otis that Krypton exploded in 1938. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that.
So the piece of kryptonite took 40 years from a galaxy, trillions, billions, gazillions of miles away. So they're taking liberties a little bit.
Well,
Professor
it's,
R2, I agree, by the way.
it is Superman, isn't it? You know, so it's a
Yeah.
comic book thing. So.
There's two
Lots of
reasons I really like Power
coincidence.
Girl.
Power Girl is an actual.
Yeah,
Yes.
Power Girls is
Power Girl.
Cosmo
The whole
something.
joke is that she didn't have any symbol, so
Yeah.
her costume just has a huge boob window.
Yeah.
And
What the fuck?
But it basically shows her cleavage. That's basically what she
That's
was
where she
known
gets her
for.
power, right?
Which there was a running gag for a while. I forget which illustrator did it, but he kept drawing them bigger every single issue
That's
until
the one you
somebody
told me about.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as Kal-El is going through space, he passes, of course, these dudes in the Phantom Zone.
This
which-
wasn't in the theatrical version. This
Really?
wasn't in the
Coincidence.
theatrical version.
That's right.
Yes. It was
Well,
not.
you can
But
see
I
that they're
enjoy
trailing
that extra
behind
scene.
him. Yeah. So it's pretty good. And then, of course, you have him aging while Jor-El is giving him all the information that he
Was there a
needs.
toilet?
No, I just did it there.
Oh,
Yeah.
You probably smell real bad.
Jesus.
Ooh.
I like to imagine that it's got this sensor that like automatically
Cleans him up.
dispenses
Yeah.
of the
Oh, you mean
poop
like-
and pee.
Oh,
So-
you mean like en suite?
Yeah. Well, it won't be very
Yes.
sweet, would it?
I
Come
don't
on. But, yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
I love how he spins round in there, doesn't he? Little baby
Yeah.
spinning
Yeah, he does.
round. Fantastic.
Then he finally arrives in America, of course, of all places. Too bad he didn't arrive in France. That would have been pretty cool.
Or Russia.
Oh.
Even.
Or Russia. Yeah.
Oh,
What would he have been
French or
called?
Russian
What would he have been
Soviet
called
man.
if he? Well,
Or Canada.
What would he have been called if he landed in France?
Well, in France, they just call him Superman because
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
say with the
He
accent.
would be the mighty baguette. He would be the
And he
mighty-
would have been exported as well.
Oh yes. But yeah, and so he lands. Of course, we see Jonathan and Martha Kent,
They were
which
perfect.
That's a nice trilogy.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Perfectly cast.
mhm,
Yes.
They were.
and there they are. And Glenn what's
Ford.
his name again? Glenn Ford
Ford.
and
Massive
Phyllis
star.
Phyllis Baxter.
Baxter, yeah.
Massive stars.
Both stars in the 40s, huge stars in the 40s. They were really big. But
Yeah, I recognized Glenn Ford even as a kid because I watched a lot of old things as a kid. So Glenn Ford like popped out to me directly because I don't think his face has changed at all.
no, it hasn't.
Used to be in
No.
lots of 50s and 60s war films.
Yes, he
and,
did.
Westerns.
A
Yeah.
lot of westerns, in fact.
And of course, they just take the baby because hey, it's a baby, and Martha Kent wants a child because I guess she can't have
this-
one.
In this
Yeah, they
version,
couldn't have kids.
in this version, did they show his little wiener?
Yes.
They
Did
do.
you?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
was-
problematic nowadays.
Yeah.
I was saying that backstage before you got in. I was a little shocked that they were so cavalier about like toddler peen being in their movie.
Yeah, but we
Mhm.
didn't think about anything like that back then.
Yeah, there was no
We're all-
intentions behind it.
everybody's
You know what I
More
mean?
innocent time.
Everybody's
Yeah.
a deviant nowadays.
Well,
Moving
is
on.
he still alive? Because like the Nirvana baby, he just might sue Warner Bros. And say, "Yeah, you guys did it without my consent" or something like that.
No,
Oh,
he's
God.
still alive. He's still alive, and he loves Superman obviously because he remembers it. So there you go.
Well, yeah, he was an angry baby. It was-
Spoken like a true Genzia. Sue, everybody. Moving on.
And yeah, so you've got
Jeffrey
him and-
Arnsworth that did the photography for this. Jeffrey Arnsworth, anyone? Because the photography is brilliant in this. He made it look like a dream, like he had the dream sequence kind of. It made the whole photography look like it was under a cloud. I don't know if I had to describe that, but the photography is really good. This is when people really knew what they were doing. Yeah.
Well, it is on film
Yeah,
as
it was
well,
him,
which
yeah.
is probably
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Proper film.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you had to be very precise on film, which is one of the big benefits of film instead of digital today. Because
Yes,
you actually had to know what you were gonna do. You shouldn't have to waste it because it's expensive.
Yeah, this was actually one of his final films. He died shortly after this.
Oh wow, that's crazy. His
Oh,
photography is
obviously,
terrific in
that's
this.
a good movie,
I love this sequence.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
And of course,
Says everything.
Yeah, Jonathan is very hesitant, of course, because it's a kid that you found in a fucking meteorite. Why wouldn't you be hesitant?
It's like, how the hell am I going to discipline this child? He just lifted a damn truck.
Yeah.
But he did it. He did it very well, didn't he? Because Clark respected him. Because the clip that follows, he respects him 100%.
You know what knocked the van over, don't you? What made it fall off the jack? It was a smell from the capsule.
Oh no!
Lord have mercy, Brown.
It was too powerful.
Moving on.
Yeah, well, we got the foreshadowing where she tells him, need to mind your heart. Remember what the doctor said.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course. And yeah, so they decided to take him home, which they do leave the pod in there. So I guess they go back and take a shard from it or
they
something.
do. They go back. Yeah.
But we don't see it on the screen.
Does anybody remember in the comics? Was that scene in the comics, or was this made up for the movie, where the kid lifted up the truck? Anybody? I've never read.
I'm not familiar with the comics.
I don't remember.
I don't believe he lifted the truck. I believe it was the whole scene is very similar, but it was. I don't think that there was like a broken down truck, if I recall correctly.
Right, gotcha.
Did you notice how when they were driving away from the capsule, the light went out as it
dimmed down.
Went further away. Yeah.
They came back for it though.
Must be connected with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course that comes up after. So I do think that it's connected with him. And so we finally find our. I think he's 18 at this point, probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
because they mentioned later that Jor-El later on says you would have reached your 18th year by Earth standards.
And so he's the football, I guess, team manager / water boy.
He's the equipment manager.
Who's the guy that played him?
Jeff East. His name
Jeff
is.
East. Yes, of course.
Dude from The Last Starfighter.
Oh, that's right.
Which has a very similar visual aesthetic to the space scenes of this. So.
Yeah.
Is it Christopher Reeve's voice dubbed
it is.
over
Yes,
his?
overdubbed,
Okay.
Yeah.
And also
Really?
he got a false nose as well. They put a
Yes,
prosthetic
that you can
nose
tell.
on him, so he can look like Chris Reeves a bit.
The nose
I love
is
the
a different color.
Americana and all this. So you got American football. You've got the old-fashioned truck. It's very.
Everybody
America.
knows number 42, by the way.
Who's number 42? You?
Number 42.
We know what the significance of 42 is, don't you?
I know the significance of 69.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. 42.
The answer to the universe.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that wasn't put in there deliberately. It just had 42.
No, it just happened.
This is DC, not.
Yeah, exactly.
If Brownie has decided that it's part of the lore now.
The lore, the super bad lore.
What about 69? They got number 69.
Rennie, that's more your department. 69.
Hey,
I
she's
only
married,
see
by the way.
65. Yeah, you'll have to ask my husband for those details. So,
but one thing I do like is the fact that they have Clark wearing a very bright orange, shirt, which makes him it makes him stand out. So I do think it's a very big thing because I'll echo it later on when he reaches the Daily Planet. But it's a good detail, and of course we see Lana. I forget her name. I think it's Lana Lang.
Lana Lang.
yes,
Yeah.
Lana. Yeah.
Lana Lang.
So is that
Cool.
the dude from The Last Starfighter?
Yeah.
we
Are you
mentioned
being
that.
funny?
Yeah, that's
He wasn't listening.
Oh, typical male.
Pardon?
She said typical male. I just said, no, yeah, I
No.
said that about a minute ago. Yeah.
So it's like with Lana Lang. Lana probably has a crush on him. He has a crush on her, of course. But it's the 70s, so you've got a jock that just comes and steals her away.
Jesus.
Sadly,
Bully.
What was his
Yeah.
name? Brad, wasn't it? He was
Brad, yep.
It's
Yeah.
always a guy named Brad.
Bad,
as stereotypical as you can get.
bad Brad.
Well, Spider-Man had Flash. He has Brad, doesn't he? When
Yeah, he had Flash and
Yeah.
Brad.
Mm.
I don't know. There was always a bully whenever someone was in high school.
Did
but yeah.
Brad
That's true.
reappear in Superman 3?
He did, yeah.
Mhm.
As an adult, a
I
drunk.
don't remember
Oh,
Superman 3 that well, so but I'll take your word.
Nobody
for it.
does.
I remember
Yeah.
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, that was
Oh, that was
terrible.
Ooh.
Awful.
But
I
but
just
yeah,
remember
so-
Richard Pryor being in the third one and it not making
That's
much
right. That's
sense.
what.
Oh yeah,
That's what
it's true,
sticks
he
with me the
was.
most.
Gus Gorman.
It's painful.
Yeah, 'cause- so how they did this effect is they fired the ball out of a cannon and just made him pretend to kick it.
You can see the air coming out the cannon if you look carefully at his feet.
You can see the air, but I never spotted like the cannon or anything like that. 'cause
No,
it looks
no.
pretty. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, obviously the cannon is way beyond the frame, but they fired out of a cannon and just timed his foot. So a close up of his feet kicking the ball, and then it cuts to this shot where the
Cool.
ball's flying. So.
Apparently, my mind is protecting me from.
It was
Superman.
they dug a hole for the cannon in front of his feet.
No, that's not true. They had a cannon. They had a cannon away from him, so he'd be safe, and just off the frame, and they fired it.
Well, I
They
mean, I
fired
hope
it,
that there
so-
was nobody receiving the ball on the other end. Imagine
No,
that.
I think a runner had to go and get it. They wanted to do another take.
I would actually, when I was rewatching it, I was like thinking, I was like, if Superman actually kicked a football, it would just disintegrate.
No, but he
Oh,
was
yeah, it would
half
blow
power
up.
in it. He's
Yeah.
a kid. You know what I mean?
Well, he used the correct angle on the football. You know,
It was
That's
it was
right.
good form. It was proper form.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you got the scene with him running across the
I
train,
love
like
this
running
scene.
versus the train. It's pretty good. You can tell that he's a bit like floating off the ground, but
Hmm.
at that speed, I do think that your running would kind of be like floating. You wouldn't really be touching the ground every time, which I think it works. It works
Well,
really
they-
well.
Yeah.
They did it. They did a similar scene like that in the Avengers film. I think it was it's the scene where Captain America's chasing Black Panther, but they had treadmills on the ground.
Yeah,
so
the
they could-
Civil War movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but with
I remember.
this, he had wires. He had wires attached to his backpack and his hips. So it was quite dangerous for the actor because the actor actually performed the stunt. So it was quite dangerous, but they pulled it off. very
Couldn't
well.
they
Well,
have
they
brought
put it off
down
really,
the
really well.
the $6 million man slow motion?
That would have been terrible. Yeah.
I think it works
know.
well here. The only issue I have with the young Clark is that you can clearly tell that he has a fake nose because I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's because of modern reprints that you're able to see it properly,
Yeah.
but you can tell it's a
Yeah.
bit like greenish blue,
Mm.
and it's weird. It just bothers me. And of course,
I,
you got a
uh,
Lois Lane
Lois
cameo.
Lane.
I remember when I went to
In the
see
extended version.
the Back to the Future at the cinema when it was 4K version, first
Mhm.
time it was out, and you could see all the makeup on the
Yeah, yeah.
actors.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely caked in foundation.
But they've corrected it though in the new version of the Blu-ray. They've digitally removed some of the
What
Yeah, they did.
foundation?
yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
a little known fact on this scene is this guy here, he played Superman on the right, and this woman played Lois Lane in the 40s version of Superman. So those
Oh,
two, yeah.
top
So those two,
trivia.
so those two
That's really good.
played
Top
Superman in the
trivia.
past. Yep. So there you go.
That's a good way to pay homage to, of course,
Mm.
especially considering this. This was probably everyone, I'm sure, was probably thinking that this was going to be I don't know, maybe a big hit. But the fact that you bring in, as you guys were saying before, the fact that you bring in all the old actors, just people that are established to lend credibility to it, it means that they were gunning for it to be big.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was all down to Richard Donner. Richard Donner's idea to pay homage to Superman. He understood the Superman character. He understood what needed to be shot. So you got to take it after Dick Donner because Dick Donner he really made this film work really, really well. Even though obviously he was dealing with assholes, he still made it work. I love the photography. They blue sky and the clouds and the and the grass, and it looks.
Yeah, it's always
fantastic.
lively. It's
Yeah.
good. It just makes you
True.
happy every time, especially because you do have the contrast when you go to Metropolis a bit, but even then, it still tries to give you hope. Well,
Yeah.
it's really good. And of
Mm.
course, you've got the Lois Lane cameo. It's
Mm.
weird because they do give you like a big age gap between her and Superman, I guess, if you think about it, but just
Yeah.
don't think about it. Yeah.
But it's weird, right? Whenever he's an adult, they look pretty much the same age, or she looks older than him.
You have to
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember.
it's all the
Weird.
smoking and drinking.
Yeah, but you have to remember he's an alien, so maybe he ages slowly. We don't know,
Illegal
you know?
alien.
Illegal alien, definitely. But there's this scene made me laugh where you just see the smoke as he's running.
Yeah,
in back-
The
yeah,
that's
motorbike.
trailing.
You can
yeah,
see the
that's-
motorbike
yeah,
just.
Yep. And of course, everyone arrives there, and well, they're not really going there. He's just on the road, and he's in
Yeah.
front of his farmhouse, and they just pass by, and they're like, "What the fuck? You're here
Yeah.
before us? How is this even possible?" At that
Mhm.
point, I'd really start to, I don't know. I just think there's something's up. Of course,
I just want to know how they got so many people in the car. Like,
It's
it's
Yeah,
just-
a
one,
big
two.
car.
It's illegal.
8 people.
Get arrested today.
No seatbelts.
Also,
Yeah.
we've got a bit of diversity. A black kid at the back. Whee, there you go.
I don't see an Asian
See-
kid. It's not diverse enough.
Damn it.
Well, there's a
Janet.
ginger
Yeah, it's a ginger, definitely. Yeah.
that means in the remake they'll have 2 black women in this,
That's
and
right.
no ginger.
and no ginger.
Well, it'll be a black woman driving. That'll be it.
But it
And
just
they'll have
goes
Brad
to
in the front
show
seat.
the one thing I like about this scene is when his dad turns up and he says, "You're showing off again." And
Mhm.
immediately Clark feels guilty about it, doesn't he? So it just within that one split second, it told you that he respects his dad and his dad brought him up the right
You're-
way,
Yeah.
right? Without
You're-
explaining it all. Do you know what I
You're
mean?
here for a reason, son.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Don't,
exactly.
don't know what it
Justice,
is,
big
but you're
football.
here for a
Compared
reason.
to Man of Steel, which I hate,
Don't get me started.
I know.
written by a hack. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, Man of Steel's like, oh, there's a fucking tornado. Let me go
Yeah.
save the dog. And no, don't save me, son. Just
No.
let me die.
It's
All
a
right,
good job
cool.
Vex wasn't here to hear that. Moving on.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah. And then
Anywho.
that version of Jonathan had a more cynical view of him for the world. While this one, it's a hopeful. I mean, you're here for a reason. You're going to do good.
Yeah.
All this stuff, and
So,
well-
who wrote this? Malkovich, what his name is, the guy who wrote the James Bond films. He wrote it in those days.
No,
when they
Mario
write-
Puzo wrote
No,
this.
they wrote the original version, but
I was
what's
gonna
his
say.
name? Richard Donner brought his own writer in because he hated
Oh,
that
okay.
version. So he brought.
Dude, I
Oh.
thought it
No,
was
no.
cool. He hired Mario Puzo to
yeah.
help
But
write
his
the
name's still
screenplay.
he's still on the credits because
Yeah, so you've got Mario Puzo, David Newman, Leslie
And-
Newman,
yeah.
and Robert Benton.
No, there's another guy as well that wrote this as well. He wrote some of the James Bond screenplays. Malkovich, whatever his name is. Richard Donner brought him in at the last moment because he hated that version. He hated the version that was presented to him, and he was the one that wrote this version. And this version is obviously the one that's presented.
Mankiewicz.
Mankiewicz, yeah,
Mankiewicz. Was it
yeah.
Tom
So,
Mankiewicz?
Tom Mank, that's the fella. So
Dragged it out of my brain.
he's a really good screenplay writer because he writes stuff with shortcuts in it. That's just an
Mm.
example of the first shortcut where you can tell that he respects his dad and his dad is very loves his son within that space of 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
that is great screenplay writing as far as I'm concerned,
Great acting,
and it makes
too.
and it's devastating when he
Mm.
just falls over and they're
Yeah.
all just.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
also
no.
the fact that you have Clark at that period, and he's complaining about juvenile stuff that you would complain about as a teenager, as a
Yeah, of
regular
course.
teenager, which also just tells you that he's integrated into human culture. He's just another
right.
average guy.
Yeah.
He has the same thoughts as you, the same feelings as you, but you have his dad that's telling him to look at the bigger picture, which is so
Yeah.
impactful.
Yeah.
Of course, well, he just dies, which is sad.
That's what I'm
Really
saying.
fucking
You
sad.
feel so. One of the reasons why Dick Donner decided to cast big stars, right, in small parts was because that you already know. I knew Glenn Ford, and I've seen him in countless movies. So he brings baggage to the scene. So even though he's in it for only 5 minutes, when he dies,
Gravitas.
you know Glenn Ford. So when he dies, you feel sorry for Glenn Ford because it's Glenn Ford, right?
It also comes
Yeah.
at a bit of a surprise too, because you don't
Yeah.
expect the big star to die so early.
That's right. Yep. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's the way that he dies too, because well, you have Clark that's like running with him playfully, and then he just runs like he goes 5 fingers of death style. He goes 5 paces, and
Yeah.
then boom, it's done.
He goes,
Yeah.
"Oh no," and that's it, gone.
Yeah, he knew.
Right.
You know, that's the
Oh,
worst
they
part.
do
is
set
that-
up for that early too, when he's going to
Yes.
change
Exactly.
the tire.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
mentioned that he's been having problems, and that was years ago at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So
Rennie said that.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh,
Oh,
that was
sorry,
Teresa.
sorry.
How
Teresa.
dare you not give me
Teresa.
credit?
Sorry, Teresa.
Unsubbed.
But it's great because they really spend like what, even if it's 10 seconds on him just saying,
Yeah.
"Oh no, like
Yeah.
I know I'm dead. That's it. No one can
Yeah.
save me out here in the middle of nowhere." Even Clark Kent, and of course,
But that's
that's
what
the
Clark
issue.
Kent says, doesn't he? He says
Yeah.
with all these powers, he couldn't even save his dad. You know, all that
Mhm.
stuff he can do, he couldn't even save his dad. And that was the whole point of this scene. Unlike Man of Steel.
Yep.
It's
It's like
NATO.
basic
But, you know,
understanding of Superman gone.
If
Yeah.
I may, they could have
Mm.
they could have quite easily done a good 90-minute, possibly a 2-hour film of just this.
They
And
did.
I
yeah,
would
they
Called
could
have-
have.
Smallville.
Mm.
Well,
In
yeah,
the whole
I'd,
series.
I'd have been more than happy with this. And then part 2, he goes to Metropolis because it's so
Yeah.
well written. Is this
Fantastic.
so good?
I mean, I agree with it being well written, but I think overly doing the Smallville part just would have lost my interest, to be honest, because I'm more interested in Superman, not Superboy,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
to speak. I know
Yeah.
Superboy is technically his son, but you know what I mean. I just didn't find this part that
Not really,
interesting.
Well,
actually.
even
each to
though
his own.
I
Actually,
know,
I
even
agree
though I
with Rennie.
enjoyed the relationship with his father and his mother, it needed to be kept brief, in my opinion.
It would have
So,
overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
that's right.
I
Two,
totally
two,
agree with
two
Rennie.
things. If anybody's interested in Fiona's panties, you know how to get them now. It's because apparently I saw that and I couldn't.
Oh, I know.
believe that.
Jesus, I know.
And number
Not
2,
good.
there's multiple versions of Superboy actually. So there's
There
Superboy,
is,
which
yeah.
is young Superman. There's Superboy, his son. Then there's Superboy, the clone from like the Death of Superman series.
Mhm.
Just
Oh,
a reiteration.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
I love this scene as well, because it just, it just goes to show. I mean, he says that iconic line, doesn't he? Just like Spider-Man, the line from his uncle. This one is,
Yeah.
with all the powers I couldn't even save him. For everything that he can do, he couldn't save his own father. So
Yep.
that just kind of puts the whole point of a Superman. Do you know what I mean? And what he can do. So it's pretty good scene within the space of what? Less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a fantastic screenplay. Well, this sequence is fantastic because, as I said, today's screenwriters, you'll have a whole fucking series on it, won't you?
You'll
before
have
you even
20
get to this
minutes of
point.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. And they won't even be able to give you the message properly. They'll just be like, okay, that's it.
They were proper
be
screenwriters
horrible.
in those days. They really were proper.
Mm.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And so
No,
at night, of course.
well, I
go
would
ahead.
say, if I may, if they wrote
Mm.
this nowadays,
Yeah.
modern day audiences,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck. They've just not got they've got the attention span of a gnat.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like
They-
that goes
they-
without saying, but
They
yes.
don't want decent storytelling. They're going, where's the fucking blue lasers? Where's the explosions?
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
just
said
like,
it in my
fuck
Marvels
off.
review at the beginning. I said, attention spans, the death of attention spans are here. So
They
horrible.
want to know where the next trans person is, and and all that rubbish. It's true. Nah, not all of them.
that's why Man of Steel had all those big flashy colors and weird animals in the first
Well,
30 seconds.
It's somebody said earlier, super they them. Moving
Well,
on.
and so you've got Clark that hears some weird humming coming from the barn, which he goes in to discover the crystal. It's not kryptonite, just to be clear. It's just a green weird crystal, I guess. Yeah, probably. I treat it like Dark Hour Bulma's capsules where you can just build a fucking house out of it.
Oh yeah,
Same
Captain
thing.
Corp. Click.
Yeah,
Hasn't
exactly.
it got the energy from the Krypton sun powering it?
Yeah, it's it's
Or something
Kryptonian,
like that.
isn't
Some
it?
kind of mumbo jumbo like that.
Yeah, it's Kryptonian, isn't it? So
Get off my lawn. Howard.
And so you have this touching scene of him in the morning. Well, he spent basically all night just staring in the fields, chilling. And I did cut it out, but there's a part where you have Martha Kent that has a clearly, box of Cheerios just going around everywhere and
Yeah.
looking for him. You can tell that was just 30 seconds of pure product placement, because everywhere the camera was angled, you could clearly see Cheerios on the label. And then she goes outside and finally talks with Clark, and it's a touching scene because
Well, that
he has
stuff was cut out of the theatrical release, so
the Cheerio stuff.
yeah, it was
It
all cut
I
out.
think
also looks
so,
like it also looks like the barn is smoking in the background as well. I noticed that.
Oh yeah.
But
These
she-
movies were actually like well known for their product placement. In the second one, they like he keeps getting thrown through like billboards and stuff, and each one is clearly product placement.
Yeah.
And you know what the product placement is, don't you?
I can't recall off the top of my head.
Marlboro.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes. No, Superman is out here telling people not to smoke. The
Sponsored by
advertisements are
Marlboro.
like, yep.
Well, the king of that was the James Bond films, wasn't it? Because they used to sponsor James Bond. They used to get a lot of money for sponsorship in James Bond films. But this is the scene where she knows he's leaving. She knows that he's gonna fly. He's gonna fly off, basically.
well,
so,
But he
He
does
needs
it.
to
He
find his
walks.
purpose.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he
walk,
doesn't know how to
yeah.
fly yet.
No.
That's right.
I
He has
guess,
to
yeah.
learn in his
Well, do they
fortress
ever
of
show him?
solitude.
That's the thing, is that there's one thing I like about Man of Steel is that you see Superman trying to fly, and when he does, it's kind of like this powerful moment, even though he fails. Here, it's still a powerful moment, but it gets
No,
there,
it's not.
slow.
Shut up. It isn't. It's stupid. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
shut
He
off
fly-
my
he flies
lawn.
so fast that you can't see the beauty of his flying. What the frick is that about?
That's the problem. It's just the fact that you can't see him flying, but the act of him
ridiculous.
trying to fly several
It was
times is what I mean.
stupid. It was stupid as far as
I
was
don't think
concerned.
he
What a load of bollocks.
knows. Like, this is just my
Sorry.
opinion. Like, that this version of young Clark does not
Yeah.
know that he
Yeah,
can fly.
no.
He knows he can run fast. He knows he's really strong. He may even know that he can jump really, really far or
High.
really long, but I don't think he knows that he can fly, which is why he doesn't do that until he gets to his fortress of
dad teaches
solitude
him
and gets
Fortress of Solitude,
educated.
yeah.
Yeah. his
Yeah.
dad
So
teaches him.
that's just my personal view of it. And I believe in the comics originally he really didn't fly. He kind of
He couldn't
floated
fly.
after he jumped, and the cape kind of kept him suspended. And then they
Yeah.
kind of expanded on that and made him fly, but he didn't really have the power of flight, so to speak, originally.
No, yeah.
So-
His early on, he just the faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings, a single bound. Those were his
Yep.
powers. He
Yep.
one of the running gags about Superman is that he gets new powers all the time.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
flight
Don't
has just
talk to me
become one
about
of
the
the standard
second
ones.
one where he pulls a plastic S off his chest. What the hell was that
It's
about?
cellophane,
anyway?
damn it. No, just kidding.
What the hell? What the hell?
That
are
was
yeah.
dumb.
you,
Yeah.
are you able to do Jay Goodwin's comments, please?
Yes, please.
No.
Which one?
I
Which one?
sense a disturbance.
Ah.
Mm.
Millions of mega geeks cried out, "It's shit!"
Oh, no.
Silence.
Shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he goes off to the Arctic, which because he says he's going off in the north, so it's not the Antarctic, so it's the Arctic. So it's just good that they actually filmed there.
So
Again.
Yeah.
he wasn't able to fly at this point.
No.
He
No,
didn't
yeah.
know he could
Yeah, because I
fly.
was wondering, why didn't he just fly?
Lex
And
flew
it
in a
was
balloon.
like,
Couldn't he have
I
run
don't know.
fast?
I don't know if you guys
could have run
had
fast.
this, but yeah. But it was kind of a running gag when I was a kid, at least, like, while Superman was still popular as a comic and, as movies and stuff, that Superman and Santa were like neighbors and friends and stuff. So, because they both live in the North Pole, So I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Superman and Santa are buddies. That's so cool.
That's funny.
I didn't know any
I
better.
bet you Santa is faster than Superman.
Probably.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Superman could kick Santa's ass.
Yeah, but
Oh,
Superman
them
is
fighting
physically
words.
scientific, but Santa is pure magic. He'll just be
Who
like, yep.
would be the fastest at emptying their sack first?
Oh, you'll have to bring it down to a
Moving
lower
on.
level, don't you, Ian?
That's what I'm here for, folks. You're welcome.
Depends on if Lois is involved or not.
Yeah. So he goes into the mountain and sees a so I don't know, is it just glowing because he's attracted there, or is it just glowing?
No, it's
Aurora Borealis.
Thank you.
It's instinct on his part. So
Yes.
he doesn't know really what he's doing. But the thing is, the instinct on his part, and obviously the crystals helping him, is guiding him. So he decides to settle on this space, but he throws it, and he doesn't really understand why. But he throws it, and then this thing is created, isn't it? So
Well, yeah. Let me play the clip. I have the clip of the creation.
Yay.
Sweet.
And there it is.
And
Beautiful
what's the
crystals.
solid?
I love this scene. It's so cool. It's like, woo, Superman's house.
All practical.
Listen, I think he could use a little bit of interior decorating, of course. Kind of looks.
He's a minimalist.
I always
Yeah,
wondered
little-
if I know he's Superman, so he couldn't get cold, but I always felt
apparently it's not cold. Apparently because Lois Lane was there in the second one, and it was warm, wasn't it, inside? Apparently, so
Yeah, Kryptonian technology, maybe.
yeah.
I'd guess.
Maybe he has like
But,
some sort of Kryptonian like central air and cooling that you can't see. I don't know.
So it's a crystal based technology that no one seems to really understand fully.
So he reaches the controls and puts in the a shard that he has, I guess, from the
from IKEA.
oh no.
Well, one of
You
the
ain't
cl-
right
one
for
of the
that.
one of the closer countries to the Fortress of Solitude would be Sweden. So.
Yeah.
All right.
You just see IKEA logo somewhere in the background. It's like, yep, beautiful.
Like
So
people
you get Jor-El.
people walk into the
Time.
Fortress of Solitude. He's just like, "Hey, would you like some Swedish meatballs, perhaps?"
Oh my
Oh,
god. That's stupid.
And here he comes.
Yeah, there he
Marlon
is.
Brando earning his money.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it
earning
really
lots
is.
of money.
You know what though?
It's like-
I just after seeing these movies, like nobody like measures up to him as Jor-El. And
That's
as
true.
much as they might try, you
Agreed.
just can't find a better Jor-El, in my opinion.
Just
Kurt
Marlon
Russell
Brando's
will be the new
presence,
one.
you know.
No, well, he's turned it down, isn't he, Ian?
Has
I
he
heard that
turned it down?
Yeah, I heard he turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't
Because I'll
know.
say Russell Crowe sucked ass as Jor-El.
Oh,
He was horrible.
Oh,
He was a
I'm-
crappy
I'm-
ass Jor-El.
Who agrees with Neil? By the way, like let's take this as like a question, not just a statement. Like you have like the Fortress of Solitude, the Bat Cave, like 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 what is people's favorite like superhero hideouts?
Oh man, between the X Mansion and the Fortress of Solitude for me.
Ooh, X Mansion is a good one.
X Mansion's a good one. Yeah, you have like I always liked the Baxter Building for the Fantastic Four because it was like structured to work specifically for like all their tech.
Yeah.
I prefer Stark Tower. I'd love to live in Stark Tower. All the mod cons, everything, right across the board. Yeah.
That cave for me all the way.
Yeah,
Really? With
Batcave.
all those
Oh, yeah.
bats?
Fuck yeah.
Well, through the bats, but everything else about it's awesome.
All right.
Kick-Ass's bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh stop.
We got a couple over here. We got
With the bin,
Jaden Smith
specifically.
Eyes likes the Bat Cave. Jay Goodwin. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice.
Oh,
Isn't
I
that in
kind of like that.
space?
Yeah.
Isn't that in space? The Hall, the Justice
No,
League?
that's the Watchtower. The
Oh, I
Justice League
see.
Watchtower. The Hall of Justice is in
Mm,
I think it's in Washington D.C.
I was gonna say I think it's in the Capitol.
Yeah.
okay. It's lucky Clark Kent didn't settle for Gotham. Isn't it? Otherwise, everybody'd be in trouble. He went to Metropolis instead. Yeah.
The Metropolis that has twin towers and the Statue of Liberty. It's really, really incredible.
Well, yeah, they don't even try to hide that it's supposed to
No.
be New York. Like the train, when you listen to the trains later, it's like, yeah, going to New Rochelle. It's like, well, New Rochelle is right. It's that's in New York, so it's like they're it's obviously New York City.
Yep. And then of course, Marlon Brando here, he's basically just filling in Clark about who he is, where he comes from, Krypton, the Eagle's Nest. What is that?
I don't know, but he actually
Mm-mm.
told him that he's got a false nose. Clark, you got a false nose. You have to take it off now.
It's okay, you can take it off. The scene's over.
Yeah.
And it's like it's good because he wants to help Clark answer all these philosophical questions of if with basically with great power comes great responsibility. The
That's the
people
other
of
film.
Earth can be great. I mean it's the same
That's the
thematic.
other film.
Don't breed with their women.
Yeah.
He said it differently, but yeah.
Yeah, like
Changing
interfere
times
with people.
forbidden. Blah blah.
Let's not
blah.
forget, though, he said that I have been dead for many thousands of your years.
Oh, don't keep
Yes.
sticking with that
paradox.
because it's a fantasy.
Many thousands of your years.
Moving on.
Brown bogging on the thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. Bogging it on. He's brought the bog on.
look, he just made a couple of calculations.
Somebody's got to.
And this is them saying, "Give us a BAFTA, please." That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
We need a
Lord.
text, yeah.
Yeah, I always found this really, really weird. I don't know why they did this weird thing. I mean, it's a cool transition because after you go through the
Weird,
eyes
weird.
and it gives you
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
Superman.
to go like the crystalline look that goes with like the crystalline look of the Fortress of Solitude. That's the only thing I can think of to justify it.
I think one of the production designer and also someone who worked on it was saying that they wanted something like the gravitas of 2001. They wanted to do something like this in this scene, so they came up with this mask thing. And so I actually remember when he first flew, the same audience cheered when I was watching this bit here. They cheered. They literally just screamed and cheered when he flew.
Yeah, you see him for the first time.
So-
Well, you know what? Let me play the clip. There he is, flying.
Forget
Oh
oh,
yeah.
we
No, no,
believe a man can fly. Damn it!
They do
Not
a pretty good job of like masking that they've changed the actor too. Like,
What?
I'm saying like they don't do like a close up on his face. So it's like they
Yeah. You don't
Oh,
really
Chris
see-
Reeves. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see him until he goes for his interview at the Daily
Exactly.
Planet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Also, when he turned, once he went past the frame, the whole camera crew, they all started cheering, and everybody. And I think Dono said that's when he knew that he had Superman.
It was all the
in right
training, all the physical training
Yeah.
from Dave Prowse,
Yeah,
Darth
yeah.
Vader.
That's right. He trained Christopher Reeve.
He knew how. Christopher Reeve knew how to do the
Flying thing.
He was
yeah.
very, very athletic and knew how to do the pose for the flying.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry,
That's why you're so convinced by it.
I've got a shirtless pic of Christopher Reeves at the end for the production photo, so he's a
and
man.
for the ladies. And
Beefy
for the-
dude.
Yeah, for the ladies. he was beefy and he was lean. Like he was. Well, I'll say it when we get there. But yeah, welcome to New York in the '70s, of course. So
It was
man.
a shithole.
Isn't it still kind of a
still? Yeah.
shithole?
No, I like New York.
In the 70s, it was pretty bad.
New York's all right. I like it now. I think I like it now. It's kind of nice.
Of course, the Daily Planet. We're finally here, ladies and gentlemen.
And Lois Lane
Yeah.
can't spell, so there you go.
I did
Yeah,
find
what
that weird that she's supposed to be like the best reporter and she can't spell. She can't like chain together sentences properly.
I actually Googled if she was dyslexic or not because I don't know. It just seems very weird.
I don't know if Lois was known for being a great typist. I know she was known for being a good reporter or journalist and getting the best that she could out of interviews, supposedly. But I don't know if they specified she was a great typist. Just saying.
Clark Kent was the fastest one.
That's
Yes.
right. Well,
Yep.
I mean, he
Again-
would have been the fastest whatever they wanted him to be.
But again, right, the way the scripts was written, the squashing things down so you can understand it very fast. That line he says is the fastest type I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to see it. It's when Perry White actually says it that puts the image in your head and literally connects you to what's going on. It's a really good screenplay. It really is.
Like to me, this is the Daily Planet because I think we go in the Daily Planet twice or three times maximum.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
But the first time that we go in the Daily Planet is probably one of my favorite scenes ever because it's so snappy and punchy and everything flows. There's no moment that's wasted. You get introduced to everyone and like I equate it to kind of like the beginning of 12 Angry Men, everyone's
God,
just
yeah.
there, but you get a sense of who everyone is very quickly and everyone stands apart, they don't mesh. It's very, very well done. And even,
Jay
to
Goodwin
credit the
with
casting
the,
as well.
Jay Goodwin, Lois was clearly a diversity hire and can't even spell.
Oh no.
And Professor R2 pointed out this was about New York, that it was a garbage dump. They cleaned it up, and now it's a post-apocalyptic hellhole again.
But in those days, right,
True.
they had to type it, on paper.
The worst part too is
Crazy,
with typewriters. If you screwed up, there was
yes.
no erasing. You had
That's
to
right.
you just had to hammer the next key harder.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, but didn't they have like eraser tape? But it was pretty
No,
crap.
well,
It was awful. Yeah, you could go back and it would like splotch
Yeah.
something white on it.
and so
Yeah.
this is another famous actor as well. I can't remember his name. Played Perry White.
Jackie Cooper.
Yeah, Jackie Cooper was famous in the 40s as well, and he did a very good job playing Perry White, as far as I'm concerned.
This is probably my favorite. This is probably my favorite scene in the movie. Actually, is that he's trying to open his drink and then he hands it to Clark.
Lois.
To Lois, who hands it to Clark, and then Clark can't open it, and he's playing up the whole like weakling thing. I just love this whole sequence.
Great. Yeah, I mean, it goes like it bounces back on what I said before of when you see him in high school, he stands out, with the red shirt and everything like that. And here, even the first time you see him, he's in the shot, and it's only when he stands up that you realize that he's there. So it's kind of like him completely blending into like into the environment that he's in when he's Clark Kent, which I'll go on to show again later because it's really, really well done, especially the distinction between Clark and Superman. Well, I'll ask this question. What do you guys think between because personally for me, Christopher Reeves, I think, does it best distincting Clark and Superman. I think that no one matches him. He's really is.
Well, no one attempted
Totally
it.
agree.
Yeah,
No
totally agree.
That's the thing. No
this
one
was
attempted
actually
it.
earlier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saved this for when this got brought up. Actually,
Yeah.
Henry
Neil made a
Cavill
good point on that
never
part.
attempted to play Clark differently to Superman.
Yep.
No, he was
And-
always Kal-El with
Yes.
and without
Yes.
glasses on.
Yeah.
That was it.
But Chris Reeves decided that Clark Kent's character, whole persona, and the way he walked with his hunch walk,
Yeah, he
was completely
stoops.
different to Superman. Yeah, which is
But he was kind of
bit
different in the
genius,
comics
really.
too. He wasn't
Actually,
like,
no, he wasn't.
I
He
thought he was
was,
different.
No, Clark Kent wasn't a wimp like this Clark Kent in the film. In the comics, he was pretty much straight, as far as I remember. The 70s.
Well,
comics.
sexually.
Yeah. Well,
I was
now
about
you
to
would
say
say that, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Oh dear.
Pretty much straight, man.
Not touching that with a 20-foot pole.
but yeah, Neil hit that one on the head right there. That he played him very distinctively, just like we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
in the comics, it depends on the writer.
Yeah.
How they play up the differences between Superman and Clark Kent.
And as
Well,
I recall, he became a newsreader, didn't he, Clark Kent? He went from reporter in the comics in the 70s to newsreader, and he had a new boss called Morgan
think
Edge.
so.
Yeah, so as I recall, so there you go.
I will say
Well,
also to Tur's point, I think he did his best, and I know not everybody likes him, but I think Brandon Routh did his best to kind of separate Superman and Clark. I know
was
he's
exactly
not a
gonna
fan
say that.
favorite, but he did a lot better than Cavill on that front, and definitely
totally
better
agree with you.
than the ones on the TV series as well.
Yeah, but he was
I
just copying
100%
Chris
agree.
Reeves.
because he
Yeah, but
looks just like the
copying.
man.
He looks
He doesn't
like
look
him.
anything like
Reeve,
He
him.
like
by the way.
literally looks
Reeve.
like he was related to Christopher Reeve, and so he played the part like him. I think he did as good as he could, but he got a lot of
It's rubbish.
criticism for
And
it.
That
in
whole
fa-
film was a
in
waste
fairness,
of
that-
time.
In fairness, that he was playing the same version.
I know.
Rennie, you're
So
talking rubbish.
there was no, but just no. Rennie's not talking.
I'll
rubbish.
defend Rennie. I'm with it. Brandon Routh, at least he tried to make the distinction.
That's
between,
right.
I was
Clark and
repeating what Mega
Superman.
Geek said.
He's just copying Chris Reeves. There was no originality from Brandon Routh at all.
But he
And
was
you're
supposed
right.
to do that.
Yes,
though,
I know
wasn't
That's
he
he?
right.
supposed to
He
do that.
is.
But
Like,
the
do you not
so-
know that Superman Returns takes place after
I know,
Superman 2?
I know.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well,
they
he's
should-
supposed to be the
Welcome
same
to
Superman.
Talking over each
They
other.
should never have. They should never have done that.
The
though,
Dark
should
Hour show.
they? They should never have done that, should they? Because nobody wanted to see that, and the way it
Yeah,
was
but that's
handled,
not
the
his
whole
fault.
script.
Agreed,
Yeah.
and it was a load of old bollocks.
It
That
was.
So,
It was
so wait,
terrible.
I do have
I
I do
don't
have a
know.
question for Mega Geek. If you
Yeah.
had to give a rating to Superman Returns, what would you say it is?
What, out of 10, you mean?
Oh,
He-
No,
he
no,
doesn't
no,
give
just
it
a one-word
that
rating.
old joke.
On a
old
scale
joke.
on a scale of 10 to shit, what would you give it?
Shit.
But
Moving on.
yeah. So we finally get Clark at the office, and it's great the way that they introduce everyone. You know, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane,
Not
Barry
Ginger.
White. It's just really, really good. And of course, he asks for him to have half of his weekly salary sent to his what is it, silver-haired mother? I guess.
Mummy. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
his mom. And of course,
I
they
do
don't make
like-
men like him
yeah.
anymore.
I do love that, like, Lois is like, he sent it to his bookie. I knew it. Like, she's like trying to catch him as like some like, you know, in a negative light without even like getting to know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, she does kind of enjoy his presence after that. After he says, "Yeah, it's for my mom," it's like, yeah, okay, well,
Actually, she's silver-haired, not gray-haired.
Yeah.
this is it, yeah.
it must be very different, especially considering that this is, you know, the city. So mentalities must be completely different in terms of taking care of your parents and stuff like that. And that's why he stands out in that, you know, in that type of in that aspect, of course.
Yeah.
And here, as I was saying before, he completely blends into the Daily Planet whenever he's Clark Kent. You know, he's just another dude at the office, and there's this, you know, long shot of just him sitting there and doing his work.
Wasn't that a real newsroom in London?
No.
Oh,
It's
it was.
a set. It's a set. It's built.
It's a really good set.
It is a good set.
Yeah.
And that, you know, they put the lights. The lights are there for a reason, obviously, so they do minimum lighting so they can shoot fast, as always, in set design. But yeah, it was a set because like outside's all paintings. It's not real city. It's just a big painting. So there you go. There you go.
Well, but the fact that we don't even notice, and the way
Exactly.
that they draw you into it and set up the scene just by showing, not telling, it's
Economical screenwriting. That's what I
Mhm.
call it.
Yep.
Very famous in those days. People used to write screenplays. They knew exactly what they were
Well,
doing.
nowadays, you'd be getting the accompanying novelization of each scene, wouldn't you,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
slow kids
Yeah.
at the back?
Especially for a Snyder movie. You're like, yep.
I love this scene, right? Do you know what? The reason why I love this scene is because 75% of muggings in New York that happens is it's a black guy that always mugs someone. You know, that was in the 70s, but they didn't do that, did they? They had a white guy.
All right,
You
so they were
looked-
being diverse. They were being
Well,
woke.
he had a white guy that looked like he didn't look like a mugger
Oh,
at all,
Lord.
did he? At all. You
Well,
know,
I mean,
I don't know.
he's
How
got a-
are
he's got
muggers
a-
supposed to look?
Well,
I know, I was gonna say, wait,
usually
what?
muggers are down on their luck, aren't they? So they look like they need the money. But this guy looks like he doesn't need the money, really.
Yeah,
let's
he's
face
dressed in
it.
a suit. Well, I think everyone
He's
at
got
that
a
time was
suit on.
dressed in a suit.
He's got-
Casual racism.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Uninspired hour.
But just saying, you know, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because obviously they weren't allowed to go there, were they? They weren't allowed to have a black man.
I don't think
What?
I don't think so. Yeah, probably
In those
not.
days they weren't as well. They,
Mm.
you know, that kind
I
of
enjoyed
thing.
having a channel while I had one. So
Yeah, thank you, Ian.
Just pointing it out. That's all.
Yeah,
You know,
mom. Yeah, mom.
yeah, look,
And,
see, that's the reason why your channel's going to get demonized. Because
No, but this
of-
scene is great because this is the first time that you get to
Demonized.
see him as Clark
Demonized.
Kent being
Yes,
Superman,
yes,
grabbing the
definitely.
bullet. Just little
Yeah.
moments like that.
Well, you know what? Since we've mentioned it, let me play the clip.
I guess I must have fainted.
Fainted? You fainted.
Sorry.
Hey, I love it. I love it. That's
Yes.
the magic.
The smile always gets me.
And guess who copied that scene then?
Rebecca Gold.
Wonder Woman. Copy that scene, didn't they? The first Wonder Woman film with Gal Gadot.
When?
Remember that
Gal
scene?
Gadot.
Gal Gadot, when the guy tried to mug them and tried to shoot Captain Kirk, and she used her bracelet to.
Oh,
It's the same
yeah, I
scene.
remember
It's the
that
same
scene now.
scene. They
Oh my
completely ripped it off. Totally.
Wonder Woman is so forgettable.
She even had the glasses on and everything, didn't she? Like Clark
Yeah, she
Kent.
did. She was even dressed in a suit as well.
That's
Yep.
right. There you go.
Mhm.
Good call
and,
out.
and so yeah, so they take a cab after the mugging, and of course, you know, you have the scene where Superman just says, well, Clark says, "Oh, you were gonna get mugged for you're gonna lose your life
Lipstick,
over every single thing in her purse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Such-
$10, 2 credit cards, a lipstick, and something else. I forget the exact. Something like
yeah.
that.
And she was like, that's very weird. It's like, yeah, lucky guess. I can
Yeah.
imagine. And so they enter the cab, and as they're leaving, we follow Otis, of course. And
But they don't
Otis
enter
is
the cab in the theatrical version.
Really?
Yeah, they don't. No, not in the theatrical version.
So they just like that's it. They just cut
Yeah, so
directly to
basically
Otis?
they leave that location, and then you see Otis.
Oh, okay, all right.
So,
Well, yeah.
not
Well, I
not in this
prefer this-
scene.
I
Yeah.
prefer this way because I think that having them in the cab and then you just have Otis walk by, so the camera continues tracking onto him. I think that's better.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it works
Nice.
better.
Yeah.
Continuity. I can't even say it. Continuity wise, jeez. Earth to South.
And so this is like one of Donna's friends. He played the captain in the Lethal Weapon films. I don't know if you remember the Lethal Weapon films. He played Captain
Yes.
Murphy in Lethal Weapon films. He's very young
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. One of Richard Donner's best friends. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
there you go.
Richard Donner.
Little
was
trivia
casting-
there.
Yeah, James Gunn is now taking after Richard Donner,
Yeah.
casting all of his friends and family and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so these are two cops that are basically trailing Otis, and of course, the funny thing is that one of the cops orders a hot dog with nothing. It's just the sausage, which is really weird though to me. So they follow him all the way down to the underground in the subway, of course, where Otis basically just goes behind. Well, if you guys can make out what's going on the screen right now, there's a secret door which he uses to go into Lex's chamber, and he escapes through there. But the detective, he follows him down, and of course he tries to go there, but you've got Lex pushing the door. He's basically closing the door on him so that he gets pushed onto the train tracks. Where, spoiler alert, he eventually dies, of course, sadly.
Well, he doesn't
the way-
survive.
He gets hit by a train.
That would be a miracle.
By the way, about the eating a hot dog with no condiments or anything, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the raw dogging it.
Raw dog. Raw dogging.
No, dude, you need at least a mustard or something.
Oh my
I love
God.
in those days people used to wear hats. You know, because like
Everywhere.
Otis got a thingy hat on, and this guy got a hat, and Clark Kent wears a hat.
So yeah, they
and,
were like bowlers or like
Yeah.
what's the
what in England? a bowler.
well,
hat.
like everybody had different kinds of hats.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, wasn't it hot back then, or like what? Is it because of
Well, this was
global warming?
wasn't
hot as
well,
fuck
this was
now.
I don't know when this is taking place, but I'm guessing.
70,
No, I'm saying I'm saying the time of year.
Oh, right.
Maybe autumn.
Summer?
No, not autumn. Spring, maybe. I guess.
Because at the time, Kojak was huge at that moment in time, and Kojak used to wear a hat.
Who loves you, baby?
A lot of people in that show, TV shows used to wear hats. Yeah, crazy.
And there he is, Gene Hackman.
Have they
Iconic.
I'll tell you
Go
what.
ahead, Mr. Brown.
have they stolen some of the sets from Star Wars?
No.
The Death Star.
And why is there a? It looks like is there a keyboard in the background?
Yeah, there is.
Oh
A
yeah,
synthesizer, everybody.
does look like it. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird high tech thing. I guess that's barely ever brought up again. Actually, his whole interface. So, I mean, yeah, it's
Definitely
pretty
Star
cool.
Wars.
So, well, before we continue, I just want to ask, what do you guys think about Lex Luthor? So I'll go from down to up. So, Miss Martin Muses, what do you think of him? Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor.
Oh, Gene Hackman, to me, he is Lex Luthor. If he's the first one that I really recall seeing, I don't remember the one from the black and white, and it's Gene friggin' Hackman. That man just did it perfectly. And I like the way that they don't give us the iconic bald look at first. So we're kind of waiting for that.
He's wearing a wig, isn't he?
Mhm.
I guess.
Well, it's just real hair. But, you know, yeah,
Oh,
He's playing off like a wig later.
yeah.
What about you, Mr. Brown? What do you think of Gene Hackman as Lex?
Were there anybody else who played Lex Luthor? I thought
Well,
Gene
you've got
Hackman
Jesse
is the
Eisenberg.
only one person ever.
Jesse
to play.
Eisenberg didn't play him.
Yeah, it's Gene fucking Hackman, everybody. What more do you
Oh
want?
yeah. Right, Rennie, what about you?
Yeah, for me, he's like the only Lex Luthor, or the only like real Lex Luthor
The
portrayal.
only good version.
Yeah, I think Kevin Spacey did what he could in Superman Returns, but it just didn't quite feel like Lex Luthor. The guy that played him, I forget his last name. I think it's Michael something in Smallville.
Rosenbaum.
Yes, he did a fairly decent job, for a
I like
young
his
Lex.
version too. Yeah, I
But
like his version.
everyone else, it's just like, you guys suck. Jesse
You guys
Eisenberg, I
suck.
knew from the beginning was just going to suck, and he did not disappoint on that front.
Yeah, the Jolly
Um,
Ranchers.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Sorry, who was the guy who played Lex in the New Adventures of Superman and Lois?
Oh yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah, he was alright.
For a TV series.
I can
he
look
was
it
alright.
up. Hold on.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, but
No,
from
me
what I
neither.
heard you guys say, you guys think that he's good.
He was alright. I liked him.
Well, Mega Geek, what about you? What do you think about this Gene
I
Hackman?
was very disappointed when I first saw this on the Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor is not like that. They obviously played it for laughs,
Yeah.
the Lex Luthor character for laughs, but obviously, as a comic book reader, Lex Luthor is taken pretty seriously. He's pretty evil.
Mhm.
And again, right, that was not, it didn't really spoil the movie for me. And Gene Hackman is brilliant in whatever, any film you see Gene Hackman in, he's so natural. It's sickening. Do you know what I mean? He's
Yes.
so good. So
Really
I
good.
didn't mind him as Lex Luthor. I just thought the portrayal of the character was wrong. But again,
Yeah,
it
I
didn't
feel
spoil
you.
it didn't spoil my-
Because it does go in tune with the tone that the movie is trying to set up. It's a bit campy, but it's
Yeah.
still semi-serious when it needs to be. But
Yeah.
Lex is completely campy in this one. He's just an over-the-top. He's an over-the-top business mogul, basically,
Mhm.
in this version.
Mm.
Dark Hour, you found the name of the
I'm just looking it up.
No, well, I guess I'll
John-
continue then.
Lois, no, that's Lois and Clark. It's not I can't find it. Oh, here. Superman and Lois. Michael Kudlitz, something like that.
No, you're thinking the new one.
Oh well, okay. Well,
Moving on.
are you talking about Lois and Clark, the one with?
Yeah, the one with Dean Cain.
Oh, that was John Shea.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I'm on the side with Mega Geek on this one. I like, as much as I enjoy his performance here, and I thoroughly do enjoy Gene Hackman's version, it really isn't. It doesn't come off like Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor has a serious, like they can play it off as comedic from time to time because he's just that much smarter than everybody, and like he'll kind of like down talk people in a funny way. But he's definitely has a more serious tone to him more often than not in the comics.
Yeah.
yes.
And
He's just diabolical in the comics.
he's very
I'll give you that.
diabolical. He's
Yeah.
very good at playing like two sides. It's like, okay, this is who I really am, and then this is who I show the people. Kind of like like a false version of himself that like for publicity.
Yeah.
And so I do enjoy this performance. I don't like it as a Lex Luthor performance. No, like so to say.
Okay.
I wonder what they said to Valerie when they said, "This is what you'll be wearing."
Valerie Perrin.
Yeah.
I mean, she was known for wearing significantly less in films, so I'm
Yes.
sure she was fine with just wearing clothes for a change.
Yeah.
She was happy.
Mhm. I love
The-
Lex Luthor's underground empire
Underground
thing going on.
lair,
I
mansion.
just always loved it. I wanted to hang out in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of good. I mean, especially for a businessman, it's free real estate, basically.
Well, it's
Yeah.
I got a feeling that he is not meant to be there, and obviously he's in hiding, isn't he? So
Yeah.
he's just basically by some means, got electricity in that place, and and made it his own, basically. So.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm.
I do like. I mean, Otis. I think he's a bit annoying at times, but he does play
Yes.
off Lex well in this one.
I think it's
Okay, fair
because Ned Beatty's so great at playing
He is. He
that
is.
bumbling oaf, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
Yeah, I really wonder how much of their interaction was kind of, let's say, improvisational, because I do think they play off each other so well, and it comes off as actual chemistry between the two of them.
What's that line? Otis, take the man's cape.
Yes,
He's like,
yes.
I don't think he wants me to, Mr. Luthor. That's a great line.
So there's actually that, and a line a little bit later, which we'll get up to, when he like tells him to get his robe, and like he just walks into the
water.
Those are like those are like two of the lines where he really feels like Lex Luthor, because it's very like it's not like immediately comical. It's like very like matter of fact comical. He says a thing, and it's the actual reality of the situation is what makes it funny. As opposed to like trying to go out of his way to be funny.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah, I think it's good because man, they just play off each other so well, and of course Lex's plan is it's basically people will always need land and pay through the roof for it, which 100% true. My dad also used to tell me that when I was a kid.
Pick fault with the script, please?
Go ahead, Mr. B.
Okay, so they're firing 2 test missiles
Mm-hmm.
armed with 500 megatons of explosive for a test. Okay.
Are we not suspending disbelief again, Brown?
I wouldn't suspend disbelief.
I don't think you understand. This is America, damn it. That's not even. That's not
Oh,
enough
so
to
you
make it
actually
fun.
test missiles with
No,
live...
So remember
Yes.
that bit. But do you remember the bit where him and Otis had to stop the convoy, and then they went into the rocket and changed something?
Yeah,
so
they were changing coordinates.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
maybe,
they changed.
but
They
also
didn't-
maybe they, I don't know, put something in there.
put 500 megatons of
No.
explosive
Could have
in
done.
the missile?
Could have done. I don't know.
Must have missed that.
I'm with Mr. Brown on this. So I think that's just it's just a problem. Unless, yeah, I think it's just a problem. Normally they
Never
wouldn't
noticed
have
it
anything.
before, but you know, moving on.
Upon rewatch, you noticed it.
Yeah, I'm just a grumpy old bastard. Moving on.
And so yeah, so we get introduced to, of course, my cousins who are down in the
God.
pit over there. Little
Yes,
kids.
this wasn't in the theatrical version.
Yeah, this is not in the version I
They
watched.
took it
earlier.
out. They took it out completely.
Really?
Yes. None
Yeah.
of this is in
So
it.
at the end when they have Eve
Wasn't there.
really?
Wasn't there. It's gone.
That's pretty weird.
Mm.
Huh. Well,
Apparently,
yeah,
it was 500 mega geeks, not megatons.
You
yeah,
see,
there it is.
I'm everywhere. I'm
when it blows
everywhere.
I just
You
imagine
have,
the
like-
bomb going off, and it's like it's shit.
That's what blows up everything.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
That's what blows up
1,000 mega
everything.
geek, it shit echoes everywhere.
500,000 mega geeks.
Mega shits.
Mega shits.
But it was just like when we were doing Blade. There was loads of faults in Blade, wasn't there? Remember
Yeah,
when
there
we
was-
were doing
yeah.
that?
With the sun, especially.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And so yeah, so well, so for those who missed the or those who haven't seen the extended version, this is basically just introducing us to a pit full of, I guess, tigers or jaguars or some type of big cat animal that you can
Monster.
hear.
It's
Yeah,
a monster.
and so you just have Otis feeding them, and that's pretty much it.
Mm.
But it is a setup for later, but that was removed, as Mega Geek said, from the theatrical cut, anyways. But we'll get to it.
Was indeed.
And so yeah, so we're back at the Daily Planet with Clark Kent trying to, of course, go on a date with Lois. Except the fact that they do set up here that what is it? They set up that there's Air Force One that's coming, of course, and of course
I do have a problem
that,
with this title, actually.
with what this.
It was his ladies. That's so.
Yeah.
1978. Can we
Yeah,
just not have gender neutral? from
She
now on?
tells him that he's not allowed in there. He should have just been like, I identify as one.
There you go, folks. We'll leave it at that.
Well, there's also one thing that I forgot to mention with the Lex Luthor thing. Here is that he does think that well, the nuclear missile thing, as Mr. Brown said before, is kind of weird. But we do get a lot about him and in terms of how he thinks and who he is, which I do think is great because they don't show him for a while. Only I think 2 minutes on screen at this point, and you clearly understand who he is, which is sold by Gene Hackman's performance, which is for me great, especially for the movie that they're trying to make.
Absolutely agree.
And so yeah, so we're back, and you've got Lois Lane that tells Clark to mail some stuff, and she can't go on a date with him tonight, specifically because there's Air Force One that's coming at the airport, so she has to take the Daily Planet chopper to go to the airport, I guess, and ask him some questions, and that's pretty much it. There she is, and everything goes tits up very, very quickly because hey, we're on the side of the fucking roof now.
Before Ian says something, if I may,
Go ahead.
What am I going to say?
Imagine that you're 10 years old like me. You're seeing this on because they showed this on TV to get people to watch it in the UK, and we had never ever seen anything like this before. Seeing this helicopter come down from the top of the building, it was just absolutely mind blowing. It was just like, look at that.
It was
I was waiting for one
magical.
of those.
It was
Everything.
magical.
You on modern day cinema, you've seen everything. Whereas this, it was like, wow.
No, it's the first time you ever saw a superhero on screen that did something that was in the comics. So, like for instance, you're watching the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk could pick up a tank and leap, But in the TV show, he couldn't do that because
That's
obviously he didn't have the
correct.
technology. But with this film, it's the very first time you saw a superhero do exactly what he
Yeah,
did in the comics.
this
Catch a
this was
helicopter.
this was a moment, a true
In history, in
moment
fact.
in cinema.
History.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't get true moments in cinema
Mm.
all
No.
that
True.
often now.
No, not
Although we've
really.
got Rebel Moon coming up. Moving on.
Oh.
I
Is it
could
going
have
to
saw
do a
Rebel
billion,
Moon.
Brown?
I could have saw Rebel Moon yesterday, but being COVID positive, I couldn't go see it. They were having a special showing in New York that I got
Rebel
invited
Moon
to.
for the win, folks. You heard it
Oh
here.
yeah, Rebel Moon in cinemas, of course. Rebel Moon will save sci-fi. That's what I call it.
Oh, for
Yes.
crying
It's gonna
out
be
loud.
incredible.
But
but
great model work in this scene as well.
Oh,
I'd just like
Mhm.
to add.
Yep,
Is
I
that
didn't have
is
any.
that real though? A real
That
Is that a real helicopter? It just looks real. It's
It
No,
looks
so
very weird.
it was so the scene where she's hanging off it, I think there is it's they built a model, the full size one, and then there's other scenes where he's it's a far away shot where Chris Reeves and that's a model and stuff. When it's
Mm.
falling, it's a model. You know what I mean? So
oh, it's
it's a
fantastic.
mixture between them both. So
Incredible.
But even today, it really, really does hold up. It's a great scene.
it's fantastic.
It holds up in terms of effects. But yeah, so I've got the clip, of course, of Superman coming to save the day. But I will say I don't have the black guy. So please, I know that for some people.
Say, Jim.
Yep.
Excuse
It's
me.
a bad outfit.
Oh, Lord.
Excuse me.
That's a bad outfit, man. It's like, yep.
I love that scene.
It's
Whoa.
incredible.
All right, well, let me play the clip.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me. Who's got you?
You cut the best bit out.
Yeah, I had to cut it off for copyright.
There is a question. There is a
classic.
question for
Moving on.
you, Mr. Brown, in the chat that I highlighted.
Oh,
since,
was there? Oh God, I'm
Yeah,
with it now.
since you were talking about it, it's going to make a bunch of money. How much
Okay,
money is the Flash going to make in cinema, Mr.
okay.
Brown?
Well, okay. Z's not here, but on Z's behalf, I predicted it was going to make 1 billion.
Oh, thank God you didn't yell it. That like
I
throws off my
turned down my
eardrum every time.
headphones.
Billion.
Can't do it.
But yeah, it's like it's great to see everyone's reactions too, because it's kind of like the same reaction that they gave Martha and Jonathan Kent, where it's a completely unbelievable thing, but they just accept it. They're like, oh fuck, yeah, this is happening right now. It's in front of my eyes. So seeing is believing, as they say, and they're clearly believing, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? It's a bird. It's a plane. Nope, Superman. But at this point, he's not yet called Superman. Of course, it's just a dude. And there it is. I guess this
That'd be a
is,
great name for a superhero. Who are you?
Just
I'm
a
dude.
dude.
I'm a dude. I guess this is a model with them. I'm not too sure.
Well, it could be a real helicopter. It would be just easier to get a real helicopter and stick it on.
Well,
you know.
that was a build, obviously, and there was like a thing holding onto the helicopter, and they were on wires.
Yeah.
And Chris Reeves had to keep his arm still, obviously, otherwise his arm would break. But yeah, that's how they did that.
All back projection, really good back.
Yes,
projection. Really good.
Yeah, it's called at the time it was called Zoptic because Mr. Zoptic created that kind of thing. So that's how they made him fly as well. I can't remember the thing that they created.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
So,
you can
Romeo.
always tell that it's yeah. Go ahead, Mr. B.
Here you go. Romeo Tango November Zulu. The helicopter rescue is one of my all-time top moments in all cinema. Big Bang Theory describes this scene as utterly wrong. Fake nerds. And the here we go. That speaking line ends it perfectly. Yes, statistically speaking.
But the thing they did right about this was, and they've talked about this extensively in TV shows, is that when he catches Lois Lane, he flies up, but when he catches her, he flies down for the momentum. Otherwise, if he didn't, then her neck would break. So a lot of people talk about that they did that completely right, and then he goes for the helicopter.
That's one of the things that they get right with Superman a lot of times is he never flies directly into the person while catching them.
No,
he's usually flies alongside them while he catches them, so that way it slows down their momentum more realistically.
Yeah.
And there
unlike
she
the
is,
Flash,
she totally wants him. Look at that.
Throw
him down right there.
Well,
that's right.
Who wouldn't want him?
Well, that's true.
I'm completely straight, and I'd want him.
If he caught you like that and you gazed into his eyes,
especially if he caught me like that, yes.
Yeah, and looking at the helicopter, the adrenaline rush. Yeah, that would be jumping right into there.
Swoon.
I love that sequence where you actually see her, and the helicopter, and it lands on the takeoff pad. I thought it was really cool as well.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, well, she does have a very big adrenaline rush because she faints right after he leaves, right after he says bye.
Yeah.
She needs a Marlboro. That's what she needs.
That scene's fantastic when he takes off there as well. Really, really good. The way
there was such an elegance when Superman was flying in the original ones, because even if they couldn't do it, fast, I think that's how Superman would fly if he's next to people. He would really go up gracefully. He wouldn't go like Henry Cavill's Man of Steel, fucking propulsed out of the ground all the time. Oh, that would be crazy.
Reeve totally understood the kind of fluid dynamics of the flying stuff and how.
Well, and he wanted to be super
so good.
Apparently, he flew gliders and he knows about the way things fly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And he wanted to be super faithful to Superman as well. Yeah. So I can appreciate that a lot.
Ian, is that the same chopper from Octopussy?
For Your Eyes Only?
Oh, yeah, For Your Eyes Only at the beginning.
No, it's not.
It looks like it.
It does look like it, yeah. But it's not. I like this bit where he flies off because obviously it was done on wires, but it looks so graceful,
Mm-hmm.
And why Cavill has to bend down and take off like he's jumping off a trampoline,
like a frog or something.
It looks good.
He looks like a frog.
She looks like she's working in Heidi High.
Yeah, probably. Well, Americans don't understand Heidi High, but yeah. But Chris Reeves, all he had to do is put his hand up, and then he would fly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd just put one of his hands up and he'd fly. But in the Man of Steel, so ridiculous, absolutely stupid. I hate Man of Steel.
Almost punches the ground. The fucking gravity around him moves with the rock.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's like a leapfrog move. I'm telling you. It's weird.
The fact that a decent number of the flight scenes were took place at night allowed them to mask the fact that he was on wires as well a little bit easier. So they allowed for a little bit more of a wide shot.
Are you sure? I thought he actually could genuinely fly. I was completely.
I mean, he might have been.
Oh, dark hour.
Well,
Reeve,
he wasn't. It depends on the shots. Like, for instance, the first time he flies, when you see him, he was on a gimbal kind of thing. Thing. So he wasn't.
You know what? Let me play the clips. I've got some clips of him flying away.
That last bit was in the
Oh.
theatrical release. The other two shots was not in the theatrical release.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Well, of course
Um,
they kept the one with the camera spinning.
Can I
Yes, they
just
kept that one.
mention
He's so
the
elegant. So it's like ballet. He's doing Cirque du
Ba-
Soleil.
ballet with an amazing
Manly
soundtrack.
twist.
Yes.
Brownie, you
Yep.
were about to say something
I just did.
about no
Ballet,
like,
ballet with an amazing soundtrack over the top.
Oh, that's what you were going to say. I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
Like John Williams, the Superman soundtrack is probably one of his best work
Fantastic.
in general for me. I mean, personally,
Yeah.
I think it's some of his best work because almost every single thing is memorable about it.
Do you know who the
Agreed.
original composer was for this film?
No.
It was Jerry Goldsmith. But he
Really?
couldn't do it. It was scheduling problems because obviously Richard Donner had worked with Jerry Goldsmith on The Omen, and so he
Yeah.
wanted Jerry Goldsmith to do it, but it was a scheduling problem, and so
Thank
they
goodness for that.
called John Williams in.
Ian,
Yeah.
have you told them the story
Of
of
what?
the edits?
What edit? Huh? What?
Um, Donna thought the film was going to be shit.
Oh, of course, yes.
See, thank you.
Oh.
I do know what I'm talking about.
So
Do you want to tell them the story? It's a great story.
yeah, so basically what happened was that he was having a hard time with the producers giving him a hard time, and so he was really nervous, and when they put the film together he still didn't think it worked, and then when they were in the room and John Williams had written the music, and then he's made the first opening scene with the credits, so John Williams starts playing with the orchestra, and he was so happy that he ran out of the place where he's supposed to be and just came up to John Williams, gave him a hug and said, "You've saved my movie." so
Aw.
there you go. And he saved it. John Williams' music is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. One of
As
the
opposed to Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams actually makes an anthem for your movie. It's
he does,
it's
yeah.
something incredible.
Yeah.
I like Jerry Goldsmith's scores. I think that
They're
they're
all great.
pretty good, but
Yeah.
John Williams just has a certain edge to him that I don't think even to this day is matched. He's
Yes.
unique.
You're right, but I mean, also the reason why John Williams is the best in the entire world is because of the amount of success he's had with his music, more so than any composers in history. So he is the best, unless somebody can outdo him, which nobody has.
Hans
so far.
Zimmer?
No, Hans
No.
Zimmer's rubbish. He's
It's not on the same level. That's the thing.
I
I
was
like
taking
Hans
the piss,
Zimmer.
by the way.
So, but it's not on the same level. But yeah, then you've got this scene with Superman, of course, stopping the burglar. That's so all of this is in the theatrical cut, right?
Yes.
Burglar stuff. All right. And so yeah, so you've got him stopping the burglar, of course, which he drops up to the cops. And what does he say? He says something
About reading.
Take him away. And he flies.
Yeah.
He says confession is good for the soul or something like that.
Yeah.
This dude could
Yeah.
use it or something.
My sister,
Yes.
my sister pointed out the obvious. She goes to me, look at Christopher Reeve's wiener.
Oh my God.
Big.
No.
Look at that, ladies.
My sister, I can remember watching this film and she was going, "Oh my God, look at the
Yeah, in the,
Jesus,
the HD upscaling, you can see a little bit of outline, so to say.
Did she go, oh my?
She did. She turned into Sulu.
Oh my God.
But the way
Well,
he takes
he
off here
is
is amazing. The way he flies off and then he turns in the air, and that was all done by wires. It's
Mhm.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's really, really good. Like he's just so elegant in the air. It's crazy. Even to this day, with all their effects and all their
amazing.
I don't even
Amazing.
know what they used. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the behind the scenes of Man of Steel. You know, there's the thing that they hook onto your waist and stuff. Even with that, they can't manage to make the grace that
Well,
Christopher Reeves brings when flying.
Agreed.
If I may, the reason why they can't do that is because they basically think faster and bigger is better when it's
Yes.
not,
Yes.
right? It's not because they can do it doesn't mean they say they should. The whole
Yes.
point of Superman flying is to show him flying, not a speck
Mhm.
in the sky moving at X amount of miles per hour and you can't see it. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
it's like it's similar to the RoboCop thing, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
Peter Weller was just moving as fast as he could, and it didn't look correct on film. And then was it Yoni? Oh, the guy from the performing arts thing said, "Look, just slow it down, fluid movement." And there you go.
Jay
also-
Goodwin
Go ahead.
has a quote here about Superman's package. Yep. The 4K version. And like I'm telling you, like on the older versions, they probably didn't see that as much, but the upscale, yes, they probably should have touched that down a little bit, so to say.
But look at
Now that
but
you
look
guys
at
are
this,
pushing-
right? Look,
Airbrushed it out.
We are looking at
seriously.
it.
No, not that.
Wait. Hold on.
Go on.
Brownie, go ahead.
He said,
Look at
he just said
that!
I knew he was going to say that, but I just want to point out how great
Big
his
it is.
costume looks. His costume looks fantastic, right? And I don't care what anyone says, he has to get those trunks back and he has to get that white belt back because it's not a Superman if he doesn't
Primary
have
colours,
that,
everybody.
in my opinion. Seriously,
mean yellow
the
belt.
Cavill one, he looked, I like Cavill, but in that horrible scaly costume of his where the colors are not
unitard.
bright, yeah,
Looks like a fish.
he just
Yeah.
looks like a weightlifter. He doesn't look like
Mhm.
Superman, you know?
True,
what I
true.
think.
Benzo just slept in, just woke up. What did he miss? Not much, man. We were just waiting for you to show up.
Yeah.
It's the
And I've
best.
said it's shit a couple of times, so there you go.
But yeah, and then of course he goes on and basically just tries and saves the day a couple of times that night. So first he gets that robber, then after you've got these guys, of course, that are stealing, that are taking a boat to run away because I think they probably robbed a bank or something like that.
Mhm.
And then he's just there. I mean, look at this. Even though it looks by today's standards, you'd say it looks campy. He still does look threatening here. You know?
Yeah.
Lots of this is the kind of stretching his legs scene, isn't it? You used to get a lot of things like this in TV, superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Like RoboCop. You had when he went on patrol for the first time, just to kind of let everybody know what he's capable of.
Yeah. It's good
It's
because
like an establishing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they call a day in the life, basically. It's like showing you what he's capable of doing.
His
showing you
show
how-
reel
how
of
it
what he
is.
can do, yeah.
And
Superman's dong versus Liam Neeson's dong, according to Jaden Smith's size.
I'm gonna go
Christopher Reeve is
Superman.
6
Christopher
No.
Reeve all the time.
No,
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's every time. It's massive.
You can't.
Chris-
Oh, well, I was gonna say. I think it would. Are we talking about strength, length? What are we talking about? 'Cause
The
if
all-round
you're going
package.
strength, it's gonna be Superman. Superman's gonna
No.
beat Liam Neeson strength wise.
Well, there's that
No,
old
Liam.
joke. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Mallrats. You know the
yes.
the
Kevin
scene where
Smith.
the scene where they're talking about like how could Lois Lane have his baby? You know, I bet
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
like
No,
a
it just-
shotgun blows out the back of
Boom.
her head.
Yes.
If I
Yep.
may go into presenter mode, if I may.
Go ahead,
ahead.
Brownie.
Chat. Liam Neeson's dong or Superman? Which is the winner? Liam or Soups?
Isn't there a way to do some
I'll
sort of like,
start.
poll or something?
Well,
I don't
you can
know.
do it on your end because it's your channel.
I don't know how to do that though. Do we do it over
Oh.
here on the?
No, it's on your channel. You go in the chat section, and then you see where it's written live chat. There's the 3 little dots.
Yeah, you can
Normally,
do a
you click
poll.
on those, then you do a add poll.
Oh, so I actually have to do it from the YouTube side. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Let me open
Poll
that up.
being the operative word.
Yep. And well, you know, let me play the clip because the way that he stops this dude that tries to hit him with the bars, probably one of my favorite lines of the movie for no reason.
Bad vibrations?
I don't know why. It just stuck with me as a kid. It's so weird. But it's like, yeah, it's great. It's just Superman here doing Superman things, and that's what you love to see. Dropping off. Well, I do think it's shitty of him to have dropped an entire boat in the middle of the street, but hey, he has to show off his strength too. It's great. It's great. And then of course, a literal saving a cat in a tree moment.
Pussy.
Which for those of you who don't know, it's kind of I don't know if it started with this one, but now it's known as how would I say this? It's like a screenwriting thing where you have to have your hero save a cat in a tree.
A trope.
For
like they did on
it's-
Kick-Ass too.
Yeah, it's a trope. It's for the audience to like your protagonist. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a cat in a tree, but it has to show them saving someone initially.
Yeah,
And
Kick-Ass saved a cat,
Mhm.
didn't he? What was on the billboard?
Yep.
Yep.
I know.
Exactly.
Because-
The Incredibles also did it. Mr. Incredible saved a cat in a tree.
What was the
I think
at the
cat
beginning of the movie.
Spider-Man did it, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, if I remember right. I haven't seen those movies in a while, but I think he did save a kitty cat or a little puppy. So,
Maybe.
Save the cat scene.
One of
Yep.
the things I find funny about this scene though is when the little girl goes in and she's like,
Yeah.
"Mommy, a guy just flew out of the sky or whatever," and she's like,
You hear a
and she goes,
Child
"You
abuse.
hear the smack." Like, I told you to stop lying.
Welcome to child cruelty in the 1970s.
CPS.
It's crazy how like they kept that in the movie. I was like, what the fuck? I had to rewatch it like a couple of times to really hear the smack and say, oh, she actually did get hit. It's so bad.
that's
But,
back
hey.
when you were allowed to discipline children.
Shit,
Yeah,
I'm
but
born in
shit,
Never
2000.
did me any harm.
That's right.
The worst part is that she's being disciplined for telling the truth.
Yes.
It's like,
Isn't life a bitch sometimes?
apparently.
Yep.
All over her
Yeah.
cat.
Listen, it depends on where you were born. I was born in 2002, and I can tell you all the way up to like 2013, my mom could smack me whenever she wanted to smack me. So
You probably
hey.
deserved it.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes I did it. But there is one time where I know that I did it, but hey, I've become who I am today because of my mother smacking me. So there it is.
Mother knows best.
Yep. And yeah, this is Air Force One that we had set up before, of course, of Lois going to, especially taking the chopper to go to the airport to meet Air Force One, which Air Force One gets hit by lightning. I don't know if that can actually down a plane. I'm not
It
too
actually
sure.
can't, but
So if you
Yeah.
lose one of those motors, one of those engines, usually the plane will still run fine. You have to usually lose two or more.
It lost the wingtip as well.
Yeah.
But what it would have made it significantly different, but they could have definitely done an emergency landing still.
Yeah. And then, of course, Superman goes there and saves Air Force One and gives a little salute to all the pilots.
Did
And they're like,
they
oh.
do this in Superman Returns, or did I?
Very
it was a
traditional.
rip-off.
He
Similarly.
saved the entire plane from crashing. It was a pretty
Yeah,
cool
he didn't do
sequence.
the wing.
Rip-off. Total rubbish. It
I still
was.
like the sequence.
Well,
So- it's a
Superman,
wo-
short
yeah.
boots and a stupid cape and a small S on his chest, and
It's better than the
muted
freaking
colors.
it's better than Zack
Ridiculous.
Snyder's Superman outfit. It does look, and I forget who said it, but somebody said a few minutes ago it looked like fish scales. It really does. And I
does.
didn't care for that. And it doesn't, like, the whole symbol, it's a symbol of hope. S actually stood for Superman originally in the comics. That is so stupid that they changed it. But that's just me.
Hope.
Anyways, moving on.
Quickly, moving on quickly.
Rant over.
Yeah. So Superman goes back to Jor-El, and of course, Jor-El accepts that Superman is now into the world, and everyone knows of his existence. But all he needs to do is, I think he says he should control his vanity, because that was one of the downfalls of Krypton, as
Krypton.
Marlon Brando says it.
Always remember it's Krypton.
This bit
Always
was
proud of themselves.
this bit was edited though. All of the scene that you've experienced
Yeah.
wasn't in the theatrical sequence.
Correct.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Correct. Yeah.
Didn't they put some of this in the
In the direct, in one
singer's
of the
version?
yes, they did. They
Because
stole
all this was
Yes.
unused.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we saw the 3-hour version, we saw it on the 3-hour version. But the
Yeah.
theatrical unused, they put it into singers, didn't they?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Yeah, and so Jor-El just accepts the fact that Superman is out there and says that he should do good in the world. And we're back to Lex Luthor's place, which he's just having a little beach party. Well, pool party, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
And of course, learning now about the existence of Superman, Lex basically thinks that he sees it as a challenge. He sees it as kind of like destiny, because he thinks Superman's arrival in Metropolis is for him, knowing that he's about to start his plan. And so he sees it as a battle of brains versus brawn, which, of course, it's Lex.
The by the way, the dong poll has begun.
Oh,
no.
Please vote, everybody. Come on.
Yes, 7 votes so far. Come on, we got 26 of you out there. We need 26 votes.
And yeah, so this is the scene that Dark Hour was talking about before, of him just bringing in the robe.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
next time, please don't bring it into the pool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Make
next time wait till I
I'm
get out
of
of the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the kind of comedy you actually would get out of like a comic accurate Lex Luthor. So this scene is probably the most accurate one you would have because he would say that's something he would likely say.
Yeah, and so we're back to the Daily Planet where the Caped Wonder stuns the city, and Perry White is out here giving everyone the speech of their lives, saying, "Yep, we need to find every single thing." Well, it's kind of like Jay Jonah. He's like, "Yep, I want pictures of Spider-Man. I need an interview with him." It's like, "Yep, of course." He wants to know everything there is to know about Superman, and of course, in this scene, you've got Lois that receives a little letter from her friend, which is what Superman called her when he saved her, of course. And there's a meeting for 8 p.m. at her place. So, yeah, that does set it up. And I do love Perry White's quote. He says, I think he says, it'll be the single most important interview since God talked to Moses. It's like,
yes,
brilliant.
that was what it was. Yeah.
Brilliant line.
Ian, what's the name of the actor? Jackie
Cooper.
Yeah,
Jackie Cooper.
again, massive.
Yeah,
star.
massive star.
Massive star.
Yep.
Yeah. Then and so yeah, it's 8 p.m. and of course, well, Superman's a little bit late, but he's here and he's looking good. Of course, it's Christopher Reeve. He's always looking good. Of course. and yeah, so Lois is basically just falling head over heels for him because
let's not
Go ahead.
forget he had a look at her lung cancer.
Yes,
yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Not yet or never.
thankfully.
Because
Yep.
because he can basically see everything
Unless
apart
it's
from
through lead.
coming up, yes.
Yep, unless it's through lead, of course. Which
You
yeah.
could took an easily look at above her lungs or maybe below. but he didn't though, did he? You know, so
Well, he
No.
He's a
kind of
gentleman.
did because she
Yeah.
asked him what color panties she's wearing, and he's like, pink.
Well, he was
first he
waiting
can't
for the
see him 'cause of-
consent, you know.
Yeah, at first he can't see it because of the lead, and she actually writes that into
Yep.
the report, which becomes like relevant later. You know.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
Of
very
course.
clever, isn't it?
it's very stupid though that she would report that because then the villains can use it against him. So
Well, how would you know that there are villains that want to fight a dude that can literally hold a helicopter
Yeah.
as it's falling down? You know, it's like we're living
'Cause
in
you-
the real world at this point. No
That's
one can
true.
fight him.
Yeah, and you would think who would be stupid enough to go up against that dude, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lex
Exactly.
Luthor.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, makes a comment.
What's Taylor Swift say?
He shouldn't have revealed the lead thing. I don't think he wanted to,
No, I think it was kind of just like a matter of fact thing.
but
that
it
she
was
wrote down.
forced on him by accident. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that he said it because he knows that like no one could go up against him toe to toe, and I don't think seeing through lead is a big issue if you can take bullets that we'll see later on. He's basically indestructible at this point, and
Yeah, all he really says is that he can't see through lead. That's the only thing.
yeah,
he
just can't
see
see through it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, you know, Lois is falling head over heels for him. She's flirting with him, and instead of saying, she gives a bit of innuendos. How big are you? Do you eat? Of course, do you have the same bodily functions as everyone else? Which, hey,
Gushing. She's gushing. In other words, is what
She
he's
wouldn't be
Oh,
allowed to do that today, would she?
No.
no,
No
that's-
woman
No,
can gush
no.
over a man today.
Now, women are allowed to get away with all
No,
sorts of stuff, though,
saying.
right?
She'd be allowed to do it. He would not be allowed to say anything.
No, she won't be allowed to do it because women are not supposed to gush over men today. It's another box ticking thing.
Oh,
she would be focused on her career 100%, and she wouldn't need no man, even if it's
That's
Superman.
right.
Oh,
That's
would she
right.
be gushing over Superwoman then?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Allowed to do that.
You mean Supergirl?
Yeah, Supergirl. I mean, if it's Sasha Cal, she'd probably be gushing over her. Hell, who wouldn't? She was great in The Flash. Well, she was great to look at in The Flash.
Don't worry. Well, there's a super chat that mentions Sasha Cali later. Don't worry.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Margot Kidder looks absolutely hot here, doesn't she? Oof.
Here, yes, but
This
yeah.
Well,
specific
it was-
scene, yes.
It was shot in summer, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm a twat.
my
Sorry,
goodness.
So, would you give her a 1, Brownie?
everybody. What mark out of 10?
No, just out of a 10. Yeah, would you give her a 1?
Get up to speed, mate. A mark out of 10. From between 0 and 10.
Yes.
I'd give chat's coming in hot, by the way. I'd give 1.
Yes.
Moving on.
Sorry, I'm usually on the other end of that one. So it's like...
I personally wouldn't give her 1, even though you guys know how I am with older women.
bigots.
So
Because you don't put it in
Ah.
crazy. No.
What a
hiding in a
bigot.
bush.
I don't know what that's a reference
Bush.
to.
Oh my
Yeah,
I
no,
actually-
that's
Okay.
whenever she went crazy and she they found her, I thought, in the bushes.
But... Oh, okay.
Like,
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about her going insane? Like,
I,
they
Yeah.
knew,
said
I
for
didn't
the
hear
whole
about the
thing.
bush
Oh.
part, but I've heard about the crazy part.
Yeah, she had
She
trouble.
has mental issues.
Mm.
All right. No, that's
Mental
good
health,
to know.
never good to joke about. I know. Moving
Mm.
on.
And of course, in this scene, this is where he says that he fights for truth, justice, and the American way, and that he doesn't lie, which comes into play later on.
Not
So,
anymore.
yeah.
He doesn't.
Yep. And so yeah, they go on a little date, a flying date, which I do have the clip of. And I will say this is one of my favorite scores of the movie. Well, it's one of my favorite tracks of the score. The I know the romantic flight. I just think that it's really good. But let me play the clip. Oh
Wrong
wait,
clip.
wrong clip. Wrong clip. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Man.
Flying over my
Don't
own
like
house
it.
somewhere.
Don't like it. You don't like it?
Do you know what spoils it?
No, here we go.
The-
What?
Ian, I have a valid opinion.
Go on then.
The music is fantastic. It's her narration.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Her
later on.
thoughts.
Can
Yeah.
you read my
Yeah.
mind?
The thing
Yeah,
is,
can you read my mind? I don't like it.
Yeah, on the end credits,
Mm.
it is actually a song because it's performed by
Oh my god.
Margot Kidder. So technically, it's a song.
They were going to have her singing in this, but they took it out. They realized it
God.
wasn't going to work. So there
I
you go.
don't like it because I just don't think they need to do it because the music with the the gestures of what they're doing and how they're looking at each other and the flying and stuff. You
That's
don't need
enough.
you don't yeah you don't. It's more than plenty. You don't need her going, "What am I thinking? Do you want to bum me?" and all that. It's like,
It does. It is a bit grating that like it doesn't come off as authentic thoughts because of the fact that it all rhymes. So
Oh,
in
yeah.
song, yes.
yeah, and so
Okay.
yeah. Now I didn't realize that it was a song. Now that I know
It
that it's a
is.
song,
It
it
is.
makes
Yeah, on
more
the
sense
credits.
now.
Yeah, I
But-
I think it's very romantic, personally.
Really? I
Oh,
just I don't know why
good for
that scene
you.
always just kind of rubs
think
me
it was
the
all right.
wrong way.
It's
You
okay.
know?
Thank
don't
you,
mind
Rennie.
it.
I always
don't
can
mind it.
count on you. Thank you, Rennie. You've got my
I mean,
back.
some of
Thank you,
it's
thank you.
magical, and I love it when they go past the Statue of Liberty, all the patriotism and stuff. But her little antics are a little over the top and a little annoying, and I want to smack her in the face.
I mean, I do agree with you on that, Teresa, like the scenery and stuff. I think if they had kept her narration out of it and just kept the scene a little bit more, short, sweet, and to the point, I think it would have been a lot more
It's
magical
so
feeling for me.
tacky and cheesy.
Yep.
I didn't mind
So
it.
weird. No. And so yeah, so they go back and they have their little moment, of course, and it's all going well. And I think she's in love with him because, well, it's a 6'4" dude. I think it's 225 pounds, and he's fucking Superman. What else could you expect?
do
He's
love
good
the
And
at-
she could
line
see
of-
that outline in the panties.
She actually has the line where she's like, "So, how
Long.
big are you? I mean, tall.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
like-
How big are
Fucking
you?
massive.
That wouldn't be allowed today.
Speaking of which,
Oh,
the poll,
everybody's
as of
having a
right
go
now,
at
the
me.
poll is at
Sorry.
62% for Superman's dong.
Yeah, come on,
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
If you're not voted, get best dong. But come on, go on.
Superman should win. It's his stream, for crying out loud. Stop it.
people are having a go at
The
me.
next scene
Sorry.
that's coming up, just a trivia bit of trivia for you.
Blech.
He says goodbye to Lois, which
I'm
he
supposed
has got
to
a
say.
picture of, and then when he says goodbye and he flies off, there's no
It's one
cut,
shot.
and she walks towards the door. And how they did that was that the scene was all back projection. It was shot before in front of Margot Kidder.
Oh, is that how they did it?
Really?
It's
That's how
like
they did it.
one
Yeah, that's
scene.
how they
Yeah,
did it.
really
So there you
good.
go. There you go.
It doesn't even look like rear projection.
No, it's very good.
Wow. Yeah, I was even wondering how he did that. In my mind, I was like, yeah,
Wow.
he's probably just very, very fast. That they put on the suit. They said, "Fuck it, go in as
That's
quick as you can."
incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Then, of course, Clark Kent is here. They had a date, of course, and Lois doesn't give a fuck about Clark. She's just,
Have you got the still where he comes close to telling her when he takes?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Have you noticed when going back to the posture thing, when he's got the glasses on, he stoops.
Yes,
He took the glasses off, and it's like
And he stands up
bang,
straight.
straight upright. Yeah.
straight, and even changes his voice a bit. You know, he's just more clear. He's the better version of himself, I would say. It's great.
Well,
It's
There's always
Yeah, go
been
ahead.
like that debate over like whether or not this is like really who he is or like whatnot, and or like what he's trying to like what he sees humans as. And that's one thing that like a lot of people say, like this is what he thinks a human version of himself would be like. So it's kind of like this slightly more pathetic, or not even slightly, like a more pathetic version of himself. And so it's one of those things that, like, you know, everybody always talks about. Oh, how can no one tell that they're the same person? It's actually if someone, you know, there's a lot of people that, like, if you look at them real quickly, sometimes I call it Clark Kent syndrome. There's people I see all the time when they take their glasses off, I almost can't recognize them. So
yeah. I mean, I don't
and
know
if
if you
someone's
follow
actively
Corridor
stooping
Crew.
down and, like, you know, changing their voice and their mannerisms, you might be able to pull that off. Actually,
I wear
Corridor
glasses.
Crew did a video on that. They did a video. They took their, I think it was like the marketing manager of Corridor Crew, and they dressed him up. They put him glasses and everything like that, and they asked him to be I think it was like an AC repairman to come to the shop and see if anyone would recognize him or not. And surprisingly enough, basically nobody did. Which
But Henry
is great.
Cavill did it as well, didn't he? He basically wore glasses, walked around Times Square, where there was adverts of the Superman playing, and he was just standing there, and nobody recognized him.
Yeah.
So
Like,
there you go. But I wear
works.
glasses. When I take my glasses off, people think I look like Brad Pitt. So there you go.
Oh, stop,
crying
Ian.
out
You know that's not even true. Get out. You should go in the
There
bin
you
for that
go.
shit.
get in the bin.
Yeah.
Oh man. And yeah, so we're back to Lex's place, and Lois's article has come out. I spend the night with Superman, an exclusive interview by Lois Lane. It's like,
Giving
yep,
Luthor the ammunition he needs.
exactly. Yeah. So he basically just gets all the info that he needs, and he deduces that they need to look for fragments of Krypton, and he finds a link to the meteorite in Addis Ababa.
Okay.
Or Addis Ababa. I don't know how you guys
What
pronounce it.
would be the chances of that?
Null. Nothing.
Well, but you have to keep in
Beyond
mind,
zero, wouldn't it?
like, Luthor is a genius.
It's a
At least
film.
I remember him being a genius. And like,
Comic
they
book
don't really
film.
portray that in the movie as much as they probably should, but he's smart enough to realize I need to look for this, this, and this. And if it didn't happen, then he would find a different way to do it. But it just happens to coincide. But he's actually very intelligent.
No, but it's the chances of the meteorite being kryptonite,
Yeah.
you know?
True.
There's a comment from yes.
I saw it.
Shall I read it? Jake
Yes, go
Goodwin
ahead.
in the chat. When Ian removes his glasses, he loses his superpower because he can no longer see if something is
That's
shit.
right. I love this scene where he steps on Otis's hand, and as he's
Yeah,
trying
'cause
to
Otis
move,
takes
get him
the
to the
ladder out from underneath
Yeah,
him. By the way,
brilliant.
I want to thank Mr. Brown for picking up the slack for my inability to talk as well today.
It's the old pro coming in, you see.
If that's what you call it.
Oh.
Shut up, you.
And so not only does he deduce that there is a meteorite that is in Addis Ababa that's completely like kryptonite, but he also thinks the kryptonite will kill Superman. And
It is a
he's like,
weird
Yeah,
theory that he
I-
comes up with that just happens
Yeah.
to work out in this
It's-
context.
Very loose, isn't it?
yes.
It's like, yeah, basically his justification is, well, he comes from there, so the radiation will kill him. Okay. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it also
it's so
kill
weird.
humans too then? Like,
And even the way that he deduces it is he says that it took 3 years for him to get there. So he looks at meteorites that came in at around the same time.
Yeah, but
So
going back
that's-
to his old fella has been dead for thousands of years. So
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, to me, this is a problem in the movie for sure. But yeah,
which I didn't
still
care
doesn't-
up until today. But moving on.
So he sets his plan into action, and of course, you know,
Um,
Lex is driving his Tesla. I guess.
If I yeah, I was going to say, if I may, is this a early Tesla prototype?
I'm
Probably.
guessing.
Well, they saw into the future.
See, even the
Elon
steering
probably
wheel,
watched
even
it.
the steering wheel is T.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, you're right. It kind of looks like a Tesla logo.
Yeah, Elon probably watched it and said, "Fuck it, we're making a Tesla."
I'll take
That's
it. It's
Damn
mine
right.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so the mission is basically to crash the car with what's her name, with Eve in the street lying down, and just to stop the convoy with the wide load. And what they want to do is recalibrate the trajectory so that it goes to. So is the plan for one of them to go to New Jersey and the other one to go to the San Andreas Fault?
I just think
Yes,
I
yeah.
think it was just one, wasn't it? But he messed it up.
Yeah, he fucked up. Yeah, so
Yes.
there she is on the floor after the accident. Of course, all of the army men want to give her, mouth to mouth, chest
Mouth-to-mouth.
compressions,
And chest compressions.
chest compressions. Like,
Well, you know who that is, don't you?
JR.
Yeah.
Mm.
Again, another
Larry Hackman, yeah.
massive star.
Yeah.
Larry
Larry
Hackman.
Really?
JR, everybody.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Larry Hackman.
and,
I love the way he
And
goes.
Major Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie.
Absolutely. I like when he goes, I won't let anyone do what I wouldn't do. And he's
Yeah,
about
That's
well,
right.
It's about face and everybody turns around. Brilliant. Brilliant scene.
yeah, it's such a good campy scene that just makes you laugh, especially and then you have Otis that's trying to set in the coordinates, but he forgets the fourth one. Yep. So the theme for him is just so recognizable. It's just for a secondary character too. John Williams just put in his all. It's great to see, especially considering today's scores are pretty much incredibly mediocre.
Well, if it was Hans Zimmer, what would his score be?
It'd probably
Like,
be some monster
Wow.
tune.
would it be so something like that?
Yeah, probably.
A vigorous chest massage. That's what she had to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is. And so they called an ambulance, and Lex, of course, who was waiting, he just arrives and takes Eve. Go ahead.
Has everybody spotted the different wigs per scene for
Yes,
Luthor?
yeah.
Lex,
Yeah, he's
yes.
It was just one of them obvious things. I just didn't know if anybody had spotted it.
Oh yeah, it changes color basically. I mean, it really
It's a
does
different
change
wig,
colors.
because in his lair he had lots of heads with wigs on, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. That's true. So they go away, but he realizes that Otis fucked up because he didn't put it in the fourth coordinate, and but thankfully, because the plot demands it, there is a second convoy. Well, it is a second convoy. It's not the same
It
one
is,
that
yeah.
they stopped.
Mhm.
Yeah. So a second convoy, of course, because there were twin missiles that were firing on the same day in the test, of
Twin-
course.
Twin test missiles with 500 megatons
Mhm,
payload.
That's expensive.
500
just-
mega geeks.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, God.
test missiles fully
That's
armed
shit.
to the teeth, everybody.
Yep. And so they had a plan, which I guess it feels as if they do this in the same day, but
Yeah,
Jesus,
I
man,
thought that.
he just
I
had this on standby.
Yeah, backup
Mhm.
motorhome thing trailer.
Probably
Yes,
stole it. He probably stole it.
yeah, from
He's a
Hardy's
billionaire.
Hall.
He just bought it.
Yeah, probably. Or
No, I was
just
gonna
bought
say
it, yeah.
Lex Luthor is rich.
Yeah.
Wow, not in this film.
Well,
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 still, he is.
No, he isn't.
Professor R2 is.
Yeah, I just saw that one.
Coming in with some facts. Do you want me to do it?
10 times. No, I got this one. 10 times the largest nuclear weapon ever detonated. Yes, because I believe it was the Russians detonated like a 50-ton megaton.
The Tsar Bomba.
Yeah.
Yeah, biggest one ever. Yeah, that was
it. The truck is Lizzo driving that. It says wide load.
Probably.
Moving on.
No, I think Lizzo is probably in the back of this one in the house. You never know. Of course,
house.
In the house, yeah.
In the house.
And so this is they just do the same thing over again, except that this time it's not Otis that corrects everything. It is Eve. I don't even know how you pronounce her.
Tessmacher.
Miss Tessmacher. Yes.
Yeah.
Common people, sorry, I just click into presenter mode. Sorry.
I'm actually okay with it. Common people. I'm COVID positive, and
you know what, guys?
Well, so
backseat
I'm okay
presenters, bastards. Moving on.
And now that they finally got everything down, but one thing I don't understand is that there were 2 missiles. He fucked up the coordinates on the first one. However, the missile still goes to New Jersey.
We just have this negative pull. This bad shit just comes this way all the time, so we're just used to it.
Yeah, I like New Jersey. I don't care what people say. I've been to New Jersey many a times, and I really
you were here, and you didn't tell me, and I didn't get to meet you.
Yeah, well, you should have told me.
How was I supposed to know you were going to be here?
Magic, intuition. But yeah, so I do think that this is a problem in the movie, the fact that they fucked up the coordinates, unless they stopped it again and fixed the coordinates again, which I don't know.
But if you look, when she does, she has the coordinates there as well. She only has 3 sections.
Yeah, she closes it on 3.
So
weird.
Yeah,
weird.
I don't even understand how these coordinates work, because usually it's just latitude, longitude, so it would just be 2 different numbers.
It's a movie.
You're looking
now it's a movie.
Suspend disbelief, unlike
too
Brown.
Deep. You're looking too deep into it.
It's a movie because it's convenient for me now to say it's a movie. Moving on.
He's changed his mind. He doesn't want to be bogged down here.
Yeah, but this is a problem, so what we try and do is right now we're going to the dam where we're gonna have
Hoover Dam. I've been there.
This is the Hoover Dam.
Yes.
Hoover Dam.
Oh. Did it have any Hoovers there?
Oh no.
It's a big dam. The big dam.
All right. Well,
so
we got
Nevada.
I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Olsen is there because they're running a story with Lois Lane about the. So is this
Indians.
In the theatrical cut? The story about the Indians?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
Native
it is.
American.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a small bit. Yeah, there it is. Just a small.
They're
bit.
because that's who Lex Luthor's buying the land up from.
Yeah, they're selling the land because basically the dam blocked up all the water that was going onto their land. So they decided to sell it. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they decided to sell it. And so that's the story that Lois is covering. And of course, we've got Clark Kent that goes into Perry White's office, who fills him in about the situation of Lois, and also gives us some exposition about people that robbed a museum in Addis Ababa, and where a meteorite specifically was stolen. So Lex Luthor's working quick.
Clark says that really great line where he doesn't understand violence in any kind of form. He says at one point, doesn't he? Which is quite
he does.
of Clark Kent. Yeah.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Professor R2 coming in with the nuclear weapon facts.
What's that then?
What?
Nuclear weapons actually detonate above the surface, so there would be at least 3 numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you
Do you know what?
Or you know?
I really like this sequence because it's one of those things that you only see in comics where he jumps out the window and becomes Superman.
Oh, that's what I do on a
That's what
Sunday.
I'm saying. You never see this in, this is the first time you saw something from the comics, it's pretty cool.
This is where it uses the high pitched frequencies where all the dogs start go mental.
Yeah, and it's
Use
like
the
if you're the
dog
only
whistle
person
frequency.
not with 4 legs that can hear
Can hear
this, then
Then it's
Great
for you.
dialogue.
And of course, like him jumping out the window with nobody recognizing him is also great because they do establish that everyone is trying to watch the
TV.
everyone was trying to watch because there's an event. I think it's the missile launch event
Yes.
that they're televising. So
Mm.
everyone's watching that. Just leaves him the opportunity to
I-
leave, which is
I love the
pretty cool.
sequence where he leaps out, he flies down, but his trousers, for a second he changes to Superman, but he still has his trousers on.
Yes.
This is a clip we used to see on TV all the time in Blighty back in the 70s when they were advertising this.
News at 10.
Yeah, and clapperboard. This was one
I'm
of the
surprised
scenes,
that this is the theme that they used to as advertisement.
Because he's doing something super, isn't he? He's doing something really super, and they can't show the helicopter scene, and they can't show him flying because that was the whole point of you going to see the film and see him fly. So you see him land, and you see him do something super, and it was enough to get my ass in the cinema. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Did you think it was a musical, by the way?
That was Star Wars.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me!
I thought Star Wars was a musical. My brother.
Yeah,
told
he
me.
didn't. He didn't want to go.
Didn't want to go. My brother's like, it's not a musical. I'm like, look at the poster. You can tell it's a
space
musical.
opera.
yeah.
But so he tracks down Lex Luthor basically, and he drills the hole and goes to his facility where, of course, Lex has a lot of how do I say this? A lot of traps waiting for him,
which wasn't in the theatrical release.
Yeah, this is the
all.
extended one. Yeah,
At all.
Really?
All the elements, testing him with elements.
Yeah. Wasn't in the theatrical at all.
Yeah.
But they're really, really well made.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are really good.
I don't really understand why they would remove that from the theatrical
because of
version.
length. Because of the length
Yeah.
of the film. That's why.
Yeah, but you're showing Superman doing something Superman, you know? That's,
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the whole point of going to watch the movie? That's the thing, you know? If it was just dialogue that was unnecessary, I would have said no problem. But Superman doing actual Superman stuff and looking cool doing it, that's pretty weird. Well, you know what? Let me play the clip because I cut it up.
I was
so that
actually
we
about
can
to say,
it.
do you have the clip? Because I didn't see this one.
Fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, man.
How could they remove this from the theatrical
So
cut?
how it happens in the theatrical cut is he lands in the street, he tells everybody step back, and he spins, then he walks towards the door, and then he pushes it, and then it comes up to this scene here.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
You should have been alive when we were watching it in the cinema. It didn't suck. It really didn't. So yeah.
No, I mean it's the fact that they had the scene, you know, already done. That's what just pains me of removing it, because it's not a long sequence. It's like what, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's lots of little extra bits that add up.
Yeah.
And wasn't
yeah,
the
that's
theatrical about 2 hours anyway, 2 and a bit?
It's almost
two-
it's like 2.5
2:17, I
hours.
It's like,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. So of course he crashes into Lex Luthor's place, breaks down the door, and the nuclear missiles are happening. So there is the launch, and everyone's panicking. Well, not yet though. Lex Luthor is about to give Superman his plan.
Phil. Sorry.
Yep. So for those who don't know, or for those who haven't seen Superman, Lex Luthor's plan is it's very simple. He wants to detonate the San Andreas fault. So everything where it says, you know, I think it's San Francisco, LA, and all that. He just wants it to basically disappear so that he can replace it and make Costa del Lex, where he's bought up all the land, of course, already from the natives, as we said before.
All based on Spanish names.
Apart from
Oh,
Otisville.
there was a Spanish word.
Apart from that.
And Tessmacher Peaks, which is fantastic.
There
Right now.
Yeah. So you got Lexington, Lex Springs, Lutherville, well, Otisburg, Marina del Lex, and Teshmacher Peaks, and Costa del Lex. And of course, he has the monopoly of all this because he bought up all the land. And yeah, it's a pretty ingenious plan actually for a guy. Except that maybe they can trace it back to you, which horrible.
Yeah, odds are that if your name is all over the thing, you probably get traced back to you. But...
Yes, they'll find some way. Yeah, of course. And it's at this point that the missiles that were launched are going to the destinations that Lex wanted. So
Cliff,
New
everybody
Jersey
from
and
Cheers.
Yeah.
which
Cliff.
one?
The one
With
in the white hat.
Yeah, Cliff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never seen Cheers. That's why.
Or Ham
Hmm.
from
Oh.
Toy Story.
Like
Ham.
literally from every single Pixar movie. He's in every,
Yeah.
like every one of them. Yeah.
Not the
Pretty much,
latest
yeah.
ones. No, not the latest ones. He wasn't.
Well, maybe not the more,
the
maybe
old
not, maybe
one.
not the more recent ones, but like a
Um,
lot. He was in
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. He was in Cars. He was in. He's
Yeah.
in all like. They actually make a
Hmm.
joke out of it at the end of Cars, where like they're watching all the older Pixar movies, and he every time his voice comes up in the Pixar movies, he's like, this actor is great. I love this actor, and it's like they're just using the same guy over and over again.
If I may, uninspired,
Yeah.
you should check out Cheers. It is fantastic.
Cheers. All right. I know the
It is
the show. I've just never watched it.
So good.
How many episodes?
Quite a few.
Yeah,
Oh my
several
gosh.
years of it.
It's just
A decade
so Cheers is just fantastic.
I actually think Frasier's better.
275.
I think Frasier's better.
Soap,
I
Frasier,
agree.
Cheers, Married with Children.
Married
all
with
those,
Children
just
is like one of the
incredible,
best
incredible.
sitcoms of all time.
Yeah, incredible.
Seen a couple of episodes of Married with Children. Actually, they used to show it on TV.
Al
The-
Bundy. Yeah.
And yeah, so at this point, everyone is panicking because, well, the missiles are going to New Jersey and the San Andreas fault, and it even goes to the point where you have the president's golf hotline. I guess
This wasn't
that's
in the theatrical release.
really the president.
no golf.
No, it wasn't.
No. Well, they don't show the president anyway, so you don't really know.
Yeah,
who,
I was half expecting to see the president from
We saw him in the second
Superman
one.
2.
Yeah.
I thought, and they didn't show him.
Nope, they just showed him swinging. And that was it.
E.G.
Well,
Marshall.
He's in a hole too, because it's weird because the way they imply it is that he's so shit at golf that he's dug himself in a hole. You know, kind of like Looney Tunes, where he can't hit the ball, but he just digs up the ground each time. So yeah, that's what they imply basically, and yeah, so now we've got Superman and Lex Luthor head to head, of course.
There's actually a Cheers question.
Yeah.
Out
Go.
from Stupenzo. Do you like Cheers better with Kirstie Alley or Olivia Newton-John?
Wasn't it Olivia Newton-John?
It was,
He wasn't in it.
was
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirstie
There you
Alley
go.
for the
So
win.
Kirstie
Kirstie Alley.
So good. So good.
I
as
like Olivia
Cheers.
Newton-John. Her music is good.
May she rest in peace.
Yes. And so yeah, so we've got Superman and Lex that are speaking, and of course, the reason why he drew him in was because he said that he was going to release gas over the Metropolis, if I remember correctly.
Internet gas, apparently.
Internet
Yeah.
gas.
There's an older for you folks. Moving on.
and so
New
yeah, so
Warriors.
he's sitting on the box. He's sitting
Made
on the
of
box
lead.
made of lead. Yep. Where of course he thinks that Superman scans the room beforehand, of course, and he thinks that the detonator is there because Lex tells him that he has a detonator. But when he opens it, oh my god, green rocks. It's kryptonite, ladies and
Dun,
gentlemen.
dun, dun.
Yep, Superman just becomes a regular man. Well, not even a regular man, just
Less than a man.
less than a man. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Look at that face. Yeah, he knows.
Yep.
It's the first time we think we see him truly showing
Afraid.
fear.
Vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The thing
I
is,
mean,
it is a little weird though, because like I don't think he would have known about this, even with all the knowledge imparted
No.
by Jor-El.
no.
Because Jor-El wouldn't have even known that this would have this kind of effect on him.
Exactly.
It was like material from the core, which they wouldn't have encountered like that.
Well, but do you think
Presumably.
he had some sort of instinctual thing, or maybe he caught like a physical vibe off of it, where it's like, whoa,
Possibly.
Like
Yeah,
that's
he
just kind
felt
of
it.
what I tell myself. I don't know.
He feels it, doesn't he? Because obviously
It's radiation.
Yeah.
yeah, it hurts him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so does it actually like hurt him, or does it just bring him to a normal level? But
I don't
what's
know.
it called? The down is so like he's up so high that whenever he just comes down, it crashes to the point where he can't do anything. It's just
So
I feel like
with
Don't know.
with kryptonite, it changes depending on which type and
Mhm.
who the writer was at the time. But most of the time, it was the green kryptonite would damage him and like remove his powers as the
okay.
standard. So
Mm.
no, okay. And, yeah. And then of course Lex down here telling Eve that it's heading for New Jersey. It's like, oh, my mother lives in New Jersey. It's like he just says no with his head. It's like that's
No, it's specifically she says my mother lives in Hackensack, New Jersey, which is exactly where the
Hackensack,
missile
New
is
Jersey.
going.
You say my mother.
It's like nope. And I do like her performance here because at least they finally give Valerie something to work with for a second, and she really makes you root for her because she's been loved by Lex, and at this point he's just like, fuck it, I don't care about your family, even though you can tell she really likes her mother. I don't know, I like it. Which of course motivation for her to save Superman because fuck yeah, I wouldn't want to see my mom die.
Fuck yeah.
And then she Me Too's him.
Yep.
Oh,
Sexual.
Problematic, folks.
This would not slide today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because he was like, "Why did you kiss me?"
But it would fly today because she's a woman, so they would allow it today.
Oh, Ian.
It's true. They would allow it today. If it was a man doing it,
well,
they would be like, But
what is it?
Kissed by her.
I wouldn't mind either.
Yes, the gold kryptonite is like the rarest form. It essentially like permanently blocks the Kryptonian ability to process sunlight.
And what's that green one that he had in the third one? He could fire peanuts through a glass. Makes him do that.
I don't know all of the kryptonites off the top of my head. There's a blue one that changed. Like the blue one is like the Bizarro kryptonite. Like basically, it's the antidote essentially.
Are you essentially saying rainbow colors of kryptonite? Moving on.
Also, there is the dust from the red sun that takes his powers away.
Yes.
Yes.
And then there's red kryptonite, which actually does the opposite of kryptonite. It like makes him more powerful.
Yeah. All right. And so basically she saves him, of course, but not before doing something that probably wouldn't be allowed today. Go ahead, Mr. B.
Sorry, I'm taking over. Sorry, sorry.
No worries,
Stupenzo asks a question for you, Russ.
Oh, the pink kryptonite. I'd have to go look at which one the pink kryptonite is, and I'll get back to you in a few minutes.
I think the pink kryptonite makes him trans, doesn't it?
It changes gender.
It changes gender. There you go.
It's his softer side.
Yes, yeah, that one's a little weird.
Ian and myself are bigots.
There's like literally like 30 different versions of kryptonite. I don't remember all of them.
My God.
It's actually what Brown and you guys were saying.
Yeah, what would brown kryptonite do?
It makes him
make you poo.
I was gonna say
brown kryptonite. Let's see if that's even one. I'll pull up the list. Hold on.
There's also the bag of dicks kryptonite. That's
God,
Rennie, that's your forte. That one.
What?
So I will read off the list
dicks.
of all the kryptonites. I won't tell you what all of them do because this list is long. But there's green, red, gold, blue, white, platinum, kryptomites, yellow, black, artificial or synthetic, silver, pink, purple, kryptonite X or kryptonium, crypticium, slow kryptonite, which I guess is like like mentally deficient kryptonite. I don't know. Kryptonite plus, magno kryptonite, jewel kryptonite, anti-kryptonite, bizarro red kryptonite, X kryptonite, blood kryptonite, purple spotted kryptonite. That one I gotta look up what that is.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, fake kryptonite, bizarro white kryptonite, red green kryptonite, krypton steel, opal kryptonite, crimson kryptonite, orange kryptonite, periwinkle kryptonite, and amber kryptonite.
You know, I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah, next time just keep your opinions to yourself, Brown.
I will.
Okay?
Moving on quickly. Quickly.
So basically, go ahead, Ian.
I like the scene. I like when he's chasing the rocket and stuff like that. And it's this sequence was done. That shot there was done on blue screen. Hence why you got the matte lines around him. But the other scenes was done by Zoptic, which was quite cool actually. But,
yeah, and of course he does go to save the Hackensack one first because he doesn't lie. Yeah, he promised, and he doesn't lie. So,
but this sequence here was meant to be he throws the rocket, and this is where the film was meant to end. So he throws the rocket out into space, and it blows up the Phantom Zone, and then that's how Superman 1 was meant to end. But unfortunately,
may I pick you up on that?
Go on then.
So what he obviously throws the missile into space. and it detonates the Phantom Zone.
Mhm.
What are the chances of that?
Exactly. Exactly.
Rare to none.
Moving
As
quickly
rare as
on
the
3 hours.
one from the Superman 2.
But that was how this film was meant to end. I can't remember why they didn't end it this way, because they had to finish Superman 1 before a certain date or something like that.
Okay.
And so they decided to use the ending of the second film on this one.
Would we have been quite happy if it ended there?
I don't know.
I think
No.
everybody would have been upset with that ending.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't
But,
Marvel in those days, was it? It wasn't like you were expecting, something else. But yeah,
Still, you expected, a proper ending.
Yeah,
where it was like,
yeah.
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 But yeah, so you've got the other one that detonates on the San Andreas fault, which completely decimates everything. It opens up the fault and the Hollywood
There goes
sign.
Hollywood.
Is this in the theatrical
Nope.
version?
nope.
No.
This was that.
Oh, all right. Well, I've got a couple of. Well, we can talk over this, but it's basically the destruction and everything that's going on, which
Doggy.
I think it's
This wasn't in it.
pretty well made.
This,
None
no,
of this
this-
was in the theatrical cut.
I think this is
No.
this is a thing from Universal. I think one of those.
I think so.
Yeah, Universal
Haunted house.
thing. Yeah, so they used that. This bit is in the theatrical. This
The
bit
bus
is-
scene.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
because he
bus
does
scene.
save the bus afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
did
I
the
do
bus
like
in
the-
Man of Steel as well. That was the
Yeah, they did,
homage.
yeah.
Yeah, when
That
it was
bit
a bus,
wasn't-
yeah.
For the
that
most
bit wasn't
part,
in it.
the only things they really
Mm.
showed were things that were directly related to things
Yeah.
to people that were in the movie.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's from
okay.
Universal Studios. that
Um,
bit with the rocks.
Lots more train
That's from Universal
scenes.
Studios. That's from Universal Studios. That's from Universal Studios.
Oh, all right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so yeah, that was a bit of destruction that they caused, which I think it looks pretty fine even till today. I think it still holds up very well.
Pretty good.
And yeah, so you've got Superman that's basically putting the fault back in place with his bare fucking hands, which is incredible, of course. And then he fixes it up, but there are still earthquakes and things because, yeah, I don't think it works that way. I don't know. I'm not a geologist, but I still think that there would be a problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Aftershocks and stuff.
Does anybody
Yeah.
know who did the was it Derek Meddings that did the model work in this film? Could somebody tell
I
me?
didn't see his name on the
All right,
It was
because
John
they-
Barry.
because they ran out of money, didn't they? The bit where the rocks are falling on the houses and stuff was done by another special effects company, and it looked awful in this film. So yeah,
Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, so as we saw the bus before he saves it, then the train as well,
Train.
puts himself down and has a train track and he still has perfect hair after it. It's just
that's right.
fucking awesome.
Costume never
That's
gets
super
dirty.
hair.
Incredible super jump.
That's right.
That's right.
Incredible super junk. Did you say?
Gel. Oh my
Oh, I
god.
see.
I mean, that would have been.
Super drunk.
Imagine he just that would be a much different situation if he just was like,
Mhm.
"Well, I know what to use to complete this."
I'm sure that there have been certain types of movies made like that.
Oh, probably.
Very well said, Teresa.
Love this
Very
scene.
tasty.
He also goes to the power plant. I don't know if this one's in the theatrical version.
No.
I
It is,
guess
it is.
not.
Oh, this
No,
is.
yeah, this bit where he goes, "Is that man all right?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that bit. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, he's good. Fuck it. I love how he just goes into the power plant and pulls down two comically
Yeah.
large levers
Yeah,
to turn off
yeah.
all the electricity.
There's danger
It's great.
behind him. This
Yeah.
isn't in the theatrical release.
He's out
at
there
all.
laying track.
Take your photo. Jim.
Pardon me while I whip this out.
Yeah, this isn't in the theatrical release, is it? This bit here. is not
when he
I don't
saves
think
Jimmy
so.
Olsen.
Yeah, take your
No, he
time, Jimmy,
saves
quick.
him, but he
Oh,
flies
but
off
take a
with
quick
him.
pic.
Yeah, this bit is not. It's not in the film.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a good way. And of course, the dam breaks, which
It's
Yeah,
good.
because of the
It's good
earthquakes.
model work. I know
I
they're
think-
limited
yeah.
because you can tell because of the water droplets.
It wasn't.
Yes.
but
It
it's
wasn't.
not bad, is it?
It
this?
wasn't. Was it? It wasn't. Who did it? I can't remember who did the model effects for this, but this stuff is what they paid for, but the other stuff isn't. They had to go to a
Mm.
cheaper special effects people. That's why it looks so
Yeah.
bad. But this one didn't look too good. This one looked all right, actually. This one.
yeah, it does. Well, I
Mm.
do have a close up later on, but and yeah, so Lois is driving back, of course, because she's gonna pick up Jimmy Olsen at the dam, where she gets caught in, of course, another earthquake, which the rocks just come at her and open the ground. And of course, before this, I don't know if that's in the theatrical cut when she escapes the gas station that explodes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right.
It's,
So yeah.
Mm.
And of course, she escapes the gas station. She gets here and opens a hole in the ground where she gets sucked in. And yeah, here's a closer look at the model work. from the
Yeah,
dam
this
where
yeah,
it came.
this is the cheap company they hired to do these bits. So it wasn't very
You can
good
tell
at
it's
all.
model
Yeah,
work.
It's
Yeah.
I just think it's the scale. With the
Yeah.
Hoover Dam scale, it looked a lot bigger. You could just about get away with it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's also the flow of water as well, because when you're doing miniatures, it's
Droplets.
very hard for the water is just it's very, very hard to put in perspective. And then so Superman, of course, since everything is getting thrown away by the water from the dam, he blocks up with rocks, which it work weirdly enough.
Blocks
Yeah.
with rocks.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
think
it
this
bring
was in the theatrical.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
No.
But none of this is in theatrical at all.
even the rocks.
No, the rocks
No,
is.
the rocks
is,
were,
yeah.
but
Okay,
not
okay,
the
okay.
people here.
This is not. No.
Yeah, so I mean, since there was a drought before, which is the reason why they sold their land, the fact that he brought the rocks that blocked up the dam made more. It basically just let the water go back on their reserve, and so they're happy because there's water, which I mean, it's cool. It's a good conclusion to their mini storyline that they put up. And well, you know what? Before we reach here, I do have a clip of Lois Lane dying horribly, which
This is a horrible clip.
Yeah,
it's horrible,
suffocating.
horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
very bad. It scared the living shit out of me as a kid.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of death scenes, there were only 3 that scared me as a kid. So there was this one, there was the entire act of the Titanic getting destroyed that scared the shit out of me. And to this day, I still kind of watch the Titanic because of that. And then there was another movie called The Core. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
one. I've got one for you. Last
Go
Jedi,
ahead.
when Luke just disappears like a fart in the wind.
Oh,
that was horrific.
It's just-
That's a whole other
someone should
level of
actually add
trauma.
a farting noise just to it. Just
Emotional. Oh,
But you know what? Right, the way Lois Lane died, I think was the right way to go, because when she died that way, you can feel for her,
Yes.
don't you? You feel for her,
Yeah.
and then when Superman turns up and he realized he didn't save and he was too late, you feel for him as well. So without that horrific scene, it probably wouldn't have played as much. The scene.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree. I agree. Well, you know what? Speaking of the horrific scene, let me play it so we can all see
Oh, gosh.
together.
Relive our trauma.
But it's
Oh.
all intercut like that together without like the breakup of him like trying to get there. It's even worse.
Yeah.
Mm, just
Maybe
a
that's why
fast
she went
death.
crazy. I'm just kidding. The scene was too much.
oh,
Sorry.
Benny.
You know me. I'm just gonna go there.
Moving on swiftly, I feel.
Yeah, so Superman turns up, of course, and man, it's to this day, it still scares the shit out. Especially the way you see her body is colorless. It's like, oh, really,
Did you
really
notice
bad.
he had some dirt on his cheek, which was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the only time he gets dirty is when, his
When he's
big
with
dog-
Lois.
his-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got the? He kissed her thinking. I think he kissed her thinking she would revive, and she didn't. And then he lost his shit, didn't he?
No, that's not it. He
I
kissed her
don't
'cause
think
he was
so.
he was in love with her. He kissed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he kissed a dead body.
Yes.
Yeah, people do it.
yeah.
Well, whatever floats your boat. Moving on.
You're thinking too deep into it.
In fact, I'm thinking too much.
Too much.
Okay, here's
Yeah,
the
so-
Deus Ex Machina.
Well, I mean, beforehand, I don't know if this is in the theatrical cut, but he hears
Yeah, it's in it.
not only
Yeah,
does he hear
He
Jonathan
hears
Kent,
he
but
hears
he hears
John
Jor-El
Kent
as well.
and Jor-El, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
they're almost like because they have opposing views, and it's almost like arguing in his
Yeah.
own
Mhm.
head with.
Oh,
them.
he sees him in the sky, doesn't he? Marlon.
Yeah, he sees Jor-El in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Also,
he hears Jonathan Kent.
I don't know what version you got here, but this sequence right here, it looks like they've recolorized and fixed up some of the effects.
This is your version of it, the 3 hour.
Yeah, this is the 3 hour version, but I know they
Yes, sir.
re-released it on Blu-ray, didn't they? The
Yeah.
TV version, so they must have
I think so.
The effects, yeah.
Fiona had something about that earlier, that this costume was supposed to be darker blue, but the blue screen shot wasn't working.
Yeah.
I saved
I
that
can
for that
imagine.
situation.
Yeah. And so you've got like the fucking Deus Ex Machina of him just going around and stopping the Earth, essentially. It's
causing the
so
entire
weird.
planet to.
Professor R2's done a comment. It's probably good for my personality profile. Professor R2, Brown not interested in philia. Good to know. Moving on.
Also,
It's surprising, isn't it?
when I was a kid, I said to
Shut
myself,
it,
"All right, so he's rolled back time. So wouldn't he meet himself when he goes back?"
No, because he's not in the same place as his past self, so he wouldn't run into himself. You know
Not
what I mean?
even Cher could turn back time.
She tried. She tried.
Oh, Brown, you were full of cheese today, bro.
I'm just enjoying myself. Sorry.
Brown sauce with cheese. Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown's enjoying himself. I fucked up.
He's
Sorry,
going in the
folks.
bin.
Sorry. I'll jump.
But I do like
Right.
Margot Kidder though. I think she's brilliant as Lois Lane in this film. Second one, not so much.
It was the
but
smoking thing that I didn't like about it.
Well,
It's
it was the time 70s. It was the
70s, yeah.
I just thought the screaming was just too much from time to time.
Yeah.
Well,
true. She's great in the in Superman 2, the donor cuts.
I hated Superman 2.
You've not seen the donor cut, though, have you?
I have.
The donor
I've
cut's
seen
great.
it. No, I didn't think much of it. It was all right.
I like it.
All those clips.
Ian, get in the bin. Just
fuck
off.
Ian's in trouble.
Nah.
You see, he does look a bit like Brandon Routh on the reflection.
No, he doesn't. Looks nothing like Brandon.
They look a lot alike, Ian. Get over it.
What are you seeing, guys? The guy, Brandon Routh's face is thin. Chris Reeve isn't.
You know what, Ian? I think seriously, you need to start wearing your glasses more.
Time to go to Specsavers, sir.
You got Specsavers over there?
Wait, you mean?
No,
you mean
but I know you do.
Are you guys talking about? Are you guys talking about that reflection of Henry Cavill
that
right there?
reflection. Looks nothing.
Very
Look
good.
at him.
Yeah, very good.
I see Tom Welling as well. I see a little bit of Tom Welling,
definitely.
and Nicolas Cage. While we're at it.
Oh yeah.
Does that mean?
Stop that.
Does that mean because he's turned back time, none of the nuclear explosions have happened and stuff?
Well,
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't
Not
make
yet.
any sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that is
round
the
it.
main issue with the way this ends, is because
It doesn't round it off, does it? It doesn't.
No.
It just. That's it. Everybody just walks off into the distance.
Exactly.
Flies
It's
off.
so weird.
Yeah.
But it's even weirder because when they're turning back time, they do cut a bit to exactly what's reversing, and he just pops up here. Unless you have to presume that before coming here, he stopped the missiles from launching.
Thank you.
But also, maybe
much.
he stopped. Maybe he stopped Lex Luthor from launching them in the first place. So he knows Lex Luthor did it. So maybe turned back time, flew back to where Lex.
Well, no,
Luthor
because he
was,
arrests him
and
later,
stopped him.
so he didn't.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah.
tied him up or something.
the only other explanation I
Kinky,
can think
everybody.
of is
Sorry?
that the only other explanation I can think of is that because he knows what order he has to do things in, it saves him enough time to get to her fast enough.
Right. Gotcha.
That's what I think.
Maybe,
I agree
yeah.
with you
And
100%.
of course, he's unlocked
for you.
speed that he didn't know that he had before.
Mm.
So he could be faster as well when he's flying to catch up to the missiles.
Was it? Yeah, it was like
That's
kind of. It was like time rage.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
He's fast. He's as fast as that stupid Zack Snyder film, isn't he?
Well,
He's
he's certainly
still
faster than a speeding bullet. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think at this point he is very fast because at the first time that Lois is interviewing him, she asks, "Do you know how fast you are?" He said, "I haven't measured it yet." So I do think that it just comes back
Very
into
good.
play of him just breaking the limits that he didn't know that he had, and so now he can do whatever he wants. Well, that's what I mean. But it's too much speculation. The film has to give you something at least. Yeah.
Well, and
Taylor
I
Swift-
agree with that. Hold on, Brown.
Sorry,
To kind of complement that with Tur is I feel the same way, and not only can he test the limits, but it's kind of like working out. The more you do it, the stronger you get, and I've always felt that his powers got stronger as he continued to practice his powers or utilize them. I don't know. That's just
especially
me.
if you got a boner for Lois as well.
Oh, See,
Taylor
well,
Swift makes a
kind of
great
information.
comment.
This one here. Is
Mm.
that it? That the one you're
Yeah,
talking about?
Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU in the chat.
She is. She is.
His screaming after her death is tremendous.
I also like the really small touch when he's putting her down on the ground and he accidentally lets go of her head, but he catches the head before it hits the ground. Do you remember that bit where he's like on the ground? I thought that was pretty nice touch as well. Nobody remembers that bit. Okay.
No,
Yeah, I
get in
do.
the bin, Ian.
I-
Get in the bin.
I don't remember it specifically.
All right.
He's very
Yeah, and,
careful with her, even though she's,
Yes.
you know,
Even
she's
though
dead.
she's dead.
Brown dead.
He's
Brown
respecting
bread,
the
yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's nice. of him.
And so yeah, so they're about to have a moment, but of course, Jimmy Olsen just pops up because he did leave him in the middle of the fucking road in the desert.
Secret
course.
comedy timing.
But yeah. And yeah, so Superman just he flies off into the distance, which of course is always fun to look at, and he eventually gets. So this part is in the
Oh, what a
theatrical
bastard.
cut. It's what you guys were telling me.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
It's not.
No,
So they
it's
had
not.
established, yeah. So they had established the weird big cats underground, and Lex is basically forcing Otis to lower her inside because, of course, she let Superman go, which just I don't know. I guess creates even weirder
Dinner time,
issues.
folks.
Oh yeah, dinner time. Well, I wouldn't mind Valerie Perrin.
What for dinner? For dessert. Moving on.
For dessert, yeah. and yeah, well, Superman just pops in and saves her. You've got Otis in the back, basically just acting as if he's handcuffed already. I really appreciate. And the last shot is him out here. It's a really, really good shot too. It's just him arriving with the Lex at prison, where Lex is giving his weird speech. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Lex Luthor." And
Criminal
then,
mastermind.
Yeah,
Takes over.
Otis is repeating everything that he says.
And you
Go
finally
ahead,
get to
Mr.
see him
B.
bald.
Yay! His baldness.
And
Yeah.
he let Miss Teschmacher off, and he took these two guys to jail. But by the law, Miss Teschmacher should be in jail as well, shouldn't she?
Yeah, but she
Yeah,
saved
good
him and
idea.
helped
She was
to save
complicit. She was complicit.
people as
too.
well.
Mitigating circumstances.
Maybe they
Ah.
were kind of foreshadowing what it's going to be like in modern day life.
But also,
45 years ago.
But also, right, after all that, Superman letting her go, she still helped him in the second one. So how does that make any sense? None of it makes any sense.
True.
Let's face it. Yeah.
Pass.
RRTNZ in the chat. The time travel solution is nonsense and awful. Why doesn't he fix every problem from now on with time travel?
That's right.
Even as an 8-year-old, I knew this was crap and still love the movie.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
really the
All
biggest.
everybody.
That's really the biggest problem with it is that if you use it once now, why aren't you going to use it again?
But they weren't going to use it, though. That was going to be in the second movie, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It still just doesn't make any sense in general.
No, it doesn't.
Ross, have you done the poll? You're going to close the poll.
Oh, I guess we can close it now. Yeah, we were.
The poll. The poll
The
dancer.
poll.
The poll ended at, there we go, 60% for Superman's Dawn being the best out of 20 videos. Votes.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Best dong, 60, 40, 20.
Oh, wow.
Wow. My OCD is stimulated.
I really, really love the shot. It's just, I think it's great. It's very
safe,
That
Superman.
sums up the whole movie right there, basically.
yeah, it's
That's
heroic.
Backlit as well.
What's that line? What's that line? This place is safe, Superman, thanks to you.
No,
That's
we're all
right.
we're all on the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all together.
And then, of course, he flies away with the iconic music, which, of course, I do have a clip of.
And he breaks the fourth wall, right?
Yeah, I love it. He smiled at me.
Aw.
You
Now, that's how
know
you end
what?
the movie.
You know what the problem is with modern Superman?
He doesn't
I'm
break the
afraid
fourth
you're
wall
gonna
enough.
That
Fourth wall, yeah.
is the key moment.
He's got a big dong. Sorry.
No,
carry on.
him smiling.
Oh,
Well, he
I mean, Brandon wrote they had to digitally scale him down.
yeah, the
was too
fourth
stupid.
wall break at the end is just like, Yes.
Yeah, it's like we know what
It's-
we're doing as filmmakers, and this is just
It's,
this is an
well-
experience for you.
No, well, it's the connection with the
Yeah.
audience. That is
Mhm.
him. That is the movie connecting with the
Modern
audience.
Superman isn't hopeful and heroic. That's really the problem.
Well, and
Mhm.
remember, in I think it was Superman Returns where they wouldn't allow them to say the American way. He could say truth, justice, but he couldn't say the American way is what he fought for. And they took that away from Superman, like ever since. And I think that was kind of a big deal. This is his country. This is where he was from, and he was proud of it, and he loved it here, and he was very protective. Yes, he did stuff all over the world, but he considered himself an American. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's great.
Born and bred.
That's right.
Kansas.
Well, he was
Well,
born
not born,
elsewhere.
but yeah,
Yeah, but
He was
Bred
with,
somewhere.
landed.
he was
that's right.
adopted and included, I guess would be the term. I don't really know.
Yeah, let's look at a little behind the scenes image, of course, of him and Margot Kidder just chilling and flying.
Mm.
Pretty good.
May
Yeah,
I
on that, like, that's like
share
a-
Sorry.
What? Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
over. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I just go into present. Sorry, folks. I just go into big bossy brown presenter mode. Sorry.
What?
I took one still of the movie. Would you care to share?
Yeah, sure.
You click on it or I click on it?
How do we do that? I don't even.
Let me just do it. All right. There we go.
That for me,
There it is.
that is just a special moment for Superman.
Mm.
It's just everything about. It's just everything about the movie. Everything about Christopher Reeve. It's just chef's kiss.
And Fiona's thing. I had to frame it with that. Truth, justice, and the white man's way of life.
Which is very problematic now. So sorry, folks.
Yeah,
As
no
a
worries,
white
Mr. Reeve.
man, it's my fault. Sorry.
But yeah, you're right. It's like just the fact of him, smiling. It's just there, especially for someone who's watching this as a kid, even as an
Yeah.
adult. It's just you have to leave the cinema hopeful.
It's one of the, it's
that's
one of
it.
the rare occasions where the film is actually acknowledging you as a viewer,
Yeah,
and it's just
like-
fantastic.
it's
I
great.
think
It's
that
just
if
like-
you're gonna break the fourth wall at the very end is probably the best part to do it because it's
And-
like it's okay now to
Do
get
it in style as well. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's basically saying it's okay now. The movie's over. You now know, like it's like you can go on. We acknowledge that you exist, and
Mhm.
it's like
The movie's
if you do it-
over.
Dude.
Fuck off.
When you're a kid and like you see Superman smiling at
Oh,
you, it's
crap.
just like, oh, he was looking right at me. That's so cool.
thing-
you know?
The thing is, though, James Gunn's gonna have a hard time trying to better something like this. He really is, isn't he? I mean,
Mm.
because
Well,
every
that's
time you
going
make a
to.
Superman, yeah, exactly.
Well,
Every time you make a Superman movie, everyone's always going to compare it to this one.
well,
And
why?
Chris Reeves.
He could have got Cavill at least to break the fourth wall.
He hasn't.
But no, it was too. I want to make this serious. It's a grown-up Superman. Fuck off.
Look at him. That's Christopher Reeve, everyone.
Yeah, he was in
6 foot
shape.
4.
Oh, ho, yeah.
Man of
And that's a
Steel.
muscle.
Man of
Oh, yeah.
Steel.
He
was
put in the work. That's all you needed. He actually put in
Yeah.
the work.
with
She was
Darth-
like,
you can see
"Can I get a
workout videos
picture
of
with
him.
you?
with Darth Vader. Yeah.
Can I get a
Man
picture
of
with you?"
Steel was massively disappointing.
Mhm.
Massively
that's,
disappointing.
Mhm.
That's a
man,
waste of
Christopher
money.
Reeve. It's very sad to see the way that Christopher Reeve passed also as well. Someone with so much hope.
It's a shame. It's a shame, really, because he really loved the Superman character, and it's just because of stupid politics and idiots that that Superman
Yeah.
2, 3, and 4 just ended up
And
really bad.
And everybody loved him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
He was
This guy's
born
bad,
to
isn't he?
play Superman. Everybody loved
Yeah.
him.
yeah. Everyone.
What
Um,
happened was they fooled him on Superman 5. Was it 4? 5? 4?
Four.
They had the budget, and then they took the budget away from Superman 4 and they put it into He-Man, Master of the
Yeah,
Universe.
He-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Christopher Reeves was locked into a contract. He couldn't walk off. He couldn't walk away.
Mhm.
So they
Yep.
fooled
The
him.
Quest for Peace. Superman 4.
What a load
The,
of
Yeah.
the real sequels are there's a comic. It's Superman 78. It was a limited series comic where they continued the storyline.
Going back to Superman 4, there is a lot of deleted scenes on YouTube from Superman.
Yeah, but they're
4.
all rubbish.
Well,
they're all crap. All of them.
It's a totally different. It's a totally different film.
No, it's not. It's the same film with rubbish, more rubbish. That's what it is.
I think you've been very harsh there, mate.
I do have a couple of super chats that I would like to go through.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So the first one, I think it's actually a super sticker. I can't see it on my end. Taylor Swift greater than Disney Star Wars for $1. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what the sticker is.
There wasn't anything on it because I've got.
Okay.
It's just a super chat.
Okay. Okay. We have, but they also sent another one, and it was stamp got sent to the Phantom Menace zone. So yeah. And I saved this one for last because this is to my knowledge, the largest. The largest super chat I've received to this day. So I'm very thankful for that. From common people for 50 pounds. That's fake money, people.
No. Before you read it, common people, £50. That's real money, folks. And because he pays with real money, this is correct. Over to you.
Okay. Trying to fight Dark Hour for weeks. He has actually. He just happens to be sick. Okay, I need to fight the uninspired reviewer over the right to be rejected by Sasha Callie. Mr. Brown watching me send super chats must be like his sugar daddy finding a younger model. I like that one. I really hope that common people is still out in the chat because I wanted to save that because I thought we'd all have a good laugh at that at the end. If not, I hope they at least see it on the re-up. Because that is one of the best super chats I've seen in a long time.
Common
and I'm
people
very thankful.
Is generous beyond generous.
I truly appreciate that, and I just really love this one because it kind of got like a lot of people involved. When you can get a lot of the people involved into a super chat like that, that's awesome. Oh, he's gone. Oh, I'll have to next time I see him. I'll have to.
No, he's right there.
Oh, cheers. Let's all have a laugh at Brown. Yeah, fuck off.
That's what we typically do on your channel, so it's no difference.
And I have a new member in Gemma
Lama.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you for becoming a member. And I saved one more of Neil's. This is not a super chat, but this is one that I kind of forgot to bring up when we were talking about Kryptonite. But hot take, I always found Kryptonite to be a goofy weakness. Yes, contemporary comics have justified it, and I've always preferred a more believable weakness like Martian Manhunter's fire. Well, I said that backwards, but
like fire.
I agree with that. Oh, another one just came in.
Oh, they're coming in.
Yeah. Max Vroomfondel for $10. Real money, people.
Yay.
American money.
America. But yes,
America. Fuck yeah.
Kryptonite is kind of a weird he's also weak to magic though, so like that's a more realistic one, I think.
Weird.
Yeah, I think it's also the fact that there's like 50,000 different versions of Kryptonite, which is annoying too to keep track of.
Yeah,
Professor R2 has become a member as well
nice.
too. Thank you, Professor R2.
Hell yeah.
I need to update my my end of videos members list now. I haven't had to do that for a while.
That's great news.
Yes, it is great news. I wish there was a easier way to do it than having to make a whole new
outro.
Outro, but it's fine. It's
worth it. At the top.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that there's like 32 or 33 different versions of Kryptonite does make that really annoying to keep track of. I only knew of like 5. I'm not the biggest Superman fan.
I only knew a couple.
Yeah, I'm
a normie. I only knew there was one.
The green one, that's it.
Yeah.
The green one's the only one that counts because they show it in the movies.
Yep.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yep, 100%. But
I'm feeling the judgment from the comic readers right now.
Oh well, I'm surrounded by comics, so that's my whole aesthetic. But yeah, so that was Superman, and depending on which version you watched for this, I feel like everyone enjoyed it, but it seems like everybody had a few small problems with it too.
If I may,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Presenter mode. What about asking the panel for their closing thoughts.
That's where I was going.
Good man. I'll shut the fuck up.
It's okay.
Yes,
I was
please
actually
do.
that's exactly where I was going, and I was going to say if anybody, we'll start with Ian, and there's two Ians, so Mega Geek Ian. Your final thoughts on the film?
It's a good movie. There are faults in it, as we've discussed. Time travel thing, or spinning the world backwards, and Lex Luthor's character wasn't really done the way it was done in the comics. But apart from that, it's a really entertaining movie. It's one of the best superhero movies made to date. Let's face it. Chris Reeves was amazing. Photography was amazing. Dick Donner did a really good job. What more can you say? It's one of the classic movies of all time, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I shall stop there.
Ready?
I pretty much agree with Ian. Now, I am one of the few people that doesn't really see a lot of faults with these movies, just because, as a comic book fan, so I really suspend disbelief when I watch these movies. I know they're not so to speak, based in the real world, so I don't expect it to be completely grounded. So I've always loved this movie ever since my dad got me into Superman, and I really appreciate why. He's a wholesome character. Yes, I know that's silly sounding, but it's just a very positive comic book character, even though I do love, characters like Deadpool and Wolverine. But very positive, feel good movie. Lots of just great moments, as well as I don't know, very entertaining as well. For me, it's almost a perfect superhero movie, so to speak.
I agree with that. Teresa.
Oh, well, I just love it. I love it, even though the bitching and complaining, of course, about the Deus Ex Machina, the fact that it's still just a little bit of a blip for me. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But the rest of it is just so daggone good. And that goes to show that people will be forgiving if overall the story is good and if it's got an overall quality to it. And the movie accomplished what it wanted to do. It brought Superman to the big screen. We believed that a man could fly. And what more can you ask for? It's a magnificent piece of cinema. And we're not going to see the like of it ever again. It's just so iconic. It's so much a part of my childhood. So 2 thumbs up. Definitely a movie's a 10 out of 10. Christopher Reeve will always be Superman. And my personal preference, though, is the first 2 parts of the movie. I think that those are the best parts.
Agreed.
And the third part is like, okay, whatever. But the ending, as you said, as was said, the chef's kiss. It's a chef's kiss at the end, because he smiled at me, and that's all that's important.
Brownie.
Okay. I was paying attention today, and yes, the film's got faults, but I don't care, because the people who made it, the people who starred in it, wanted to be there and tell a good story, and it just comes over in spades that they wanted to do Superman justice, and as I said, it's made from a different time. It was the helicopter scene was for me a moment in cinema. We don't get those all that often now, so it's such a great film, made from the right place. What can I say? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I
like
agree.
it's weird because it's very rare to have something such big scale seem incredibly important nowadays in cinema. Because the helicopter scene, well, in terms of today, it's not big scale, but it's still very, very important. Right now you have thousands of CGI armies that are meaningless most of the time. It's like, yeah, it's bigger, it's bolder, but there's nothing behind it, which is incredibly sad. It's crazy. But
Yeah,
they
that's
nailed that in
actually
the
something.
70s.
That's something I noticed upon rewatch is really Superman doesn't have a villain he fights in this at all. He fights against nature for the most part, and it still works because it's a well-told story. Yes, like we said, there's faults here and there, quite literally and figuratively faults, but we have, you don't necessarily need to have, the whole, okay, we put this character and now we have to give him like this insurmountable person to defeat, and
it's not Superman 4.
Exactly.
Mhm.
or most superhero movies, and it kind of set the groundwork for a lot of those earlier superhero films, like the way that the story was told. Later that would obviously go on to be changed as time went on, and now we're nowhere near that anymore, but it did set a precedent for the time of how it was done and how to get something from the page of a comic to the screen, which I think you can't discount that as it being really kind of the first one that did that for real.
I agree with that.
Totally
Would you
agree.
not say though, even though Lex Luthor was kind of the villain in here, I've always kind of thought maybe the reason that they tried not to show Superman fighting him or taking him down, instead they just take him to the police, is because he knows how strong he is. He knows how capable he is of just crushing him into oblivion, that he's not going to do that.
Exactly.
I don't know, I just always had that feeling.
That's who Superman is. Superman doesn't. He knows his capacity. He knows what he can do, and he knows when he shouldn't use it. He often holds himself back because of that. And in this instance, he, in theory, he should have done that to someone who just threatened to murder literally millions of people to make to make an offshore resort, essentially.
Don't forget, he believes in truth, justice, and the American way. So
That's
I mean,
right.
the cops and everything like that. He believes in the well, not now, but before
But
he
he
believed
did.
in the system.
But
So-
that neck breaking scene from Man of Steel irritates me every time, and I'm like, that's not who he was in the comics.
Yeah, just cracking his neck in an instant.
Bag of
Jesus
shit.
Christ. Oh my God. Yep. Not to mention the fact that he destroys an entire city with people in it just because, hey, we couldn't take the fight out to space. Hey.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
He would never forgive himself for that. At least comic book
Jesus.
Superman wouldn't.
Yeah, so he would move the fight away from the town like he did in the second one. That's what Superman's all about. But with the Man of Steel, because they did it. So it's really stupid. The
Load of
whole
bollocks.
screenplay is really stupid. It really is.
Yep. Fuck you, Snyder.
So
And Nolan.
yeah, don't forget Nolan.
Nolan,
He's part of that.
Snyder, you can suck it. Yeah, there you go.
I guess on that note, we should bring it to a close. I guess we'll do our go ahead, Inspired. You love to say this part.
Oh yeah. Everyone, it's time to plug your shit, ladies and gentlemen. We still have to make a video for that.
Yes,
I'll
we'll do
play
it eventually.
every single time.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But,
there's a
yes,
lot of things I got to
I-
figure out, but
Oh yeah. Well, I guess we'll start by my side. So, Miss Martin Muses, thank you for coming on, and let the people know what's going on your channel.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me on. You can find me here in Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. You can, upcoming, I'm going to be continuing with my pub crawl series. We're going to move on to night 4. We have had many, many marvelous evenings and interviews and discussions. I'm going to be on tomorrow night, Nina Infinity's channel. We're going to be talking some Reacher.
Nice.
Nice.
Also, some videos in the pipeline. I'm almost at 1,000. I'm mostly monetized, and I'm looking to get fully monetized. And if you wouldn't mind popping over, give me a subscribe, maybe watching some of my reviews and material and interviews, I think that you might enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
yes, always watch a video if you go to subscribe to somebody, because it YouTube might not
Takes
count
them
it.
off.
Yeah, it takes them
Yes.
off if you don't watch something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I
well,
don't.
pleasure.
If you're already monetized, I don't think it takes the subs off.
I've
you-
had
if-
some purge.
I think so.
Uh,
Yeah, I think so. It depends. Even if you're monetized, it's just the YouTube bot algorithm.
Shit.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make it harder and
Yeah.
harder every week.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, and once again, and I do enjoy your Harry Potter streams that you've been doing recently. They're pretty
Oh,
good. And what about you, Mr. B? What do you have to? It's time to plug your shit.
Obviously, there's my channel, folks. I think most of the people watching this know the channel.
Yes.
I'll just say I don't make all that many appearances. I'm going to address it in the new year, but at this moment in time, I don't think there's any other place I'd rather be. You guys and gals, spot on. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Mr.
Mr.
Brown.
B.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. B.
I will say, us bottom feeders, we need to stick together, folks. Moving on.
I thought you were going to say power bottoms, but yeah.
Power bottoms. We're power bottoms. Damn it.
Bottom.
Yeah, us bottom feeders, let's stick together. Great to see you all. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on, Mr.
Thank
B.
you, my friend.
Rennie, do you have anywhere that you're gonna be? Because it's time to plug your shit.
I love it.
Well, of course, you guys know I'm pretty much a regular on Mr. Brown's channel. So it just kind of depends on when my schedule and his schedule line up. I will tell you guys, I used to be on Teresa's quite frequently. Please check her out. She's very well spoken, very intelligent lady, has a lot of great points. I think you'll love her channel, especially if you love literature. Just saying, check her out.
Oh,
So
I'm out then. I'm out. I don't read.
you hater potato.
I got through all of college never finishing a book. I don't know how I did that, but
Oh my goodness. Reading is a great pastime, and it really does help to de-stress, and it also helps to broaden your wrinkly brain. So
Darn right.
I prefer my incredibly smooth brain. Thank you.
I figured.
Oh yeah. Thank you for coming on, Rennie. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I think we've had you on about
thank you
I think,
guys.
3 or 4 times.
I
It's
think
always
she
fun.
holds
this
the
is
record
4th.
as of right now.
Really?
I think it's
Gotta keep
number
track.
4, right?
Yeah, I think
'Cause it
number
was-
4.
You're
Yeah, my
firmly
cousin-
established in the upcoming background. We're going to be updating the background eventually to include everybody who's been on the channel.
Yeah, it was a Tropic Thunder, my cousin Vinny, Nightmare Before Christmas, and then now
Yeah.
Superman.
And
Yeah,
had I not
sweet.
screwed up, she would have also been on
Shaun of the
Dead too. So
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
had I not
Blame-
screwed up the schedule.
He sees
Blame
me
Dark Hour
rolling,
for that
he's
one.
hating. Yeah.
Oh, but thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you guys.
Mega Geek, it is time to plug your shit.
Come on, this is like a segment perfectly for you. It's plug
Well,
your shit.
Everybody knows. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but I have a channel called the Rebecca Gold channel. It's got a web series called Rebecca Gold in it, season 1. I'm shooting season 2 at the moment. Hopefully that'll be ready next year. But I mean, obviously, I don't do live streams and stuff like that, so it's purely drama stuff that's on my channel. There's a couple of my movies on there too. So yeah, if you've got nothing else better to do, it's just go to the Rebecca Gold channel.
You're
Well, the
selling your
thing is,
shit really well.
yeah,
British thing. It's a British
But the
thing.
thing is, though, it's I think I've hit my quota. There's a lot of people that's seen my stuff already. I just got to present them a new stuff. New stuff is coming next year, so I don't think I'm going to get any higher than I am now, if you know what I mean. Unless, yeah, because everybody on this channel is on Ian's channel. Do you know what I mean? So I can afford to speak like this. If I was on a new channel with new people, I'd probably, big it up.
Well,
But
I
don't
do.
really know.
I do send out these things to like I find groups and stuff where
All right.
to send out these things. So there might be. It may not be that many, but you might catch somebody. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Well,
Yeah, I find like groups that are like fan groups of particular movies and stuff, or like actors, and I send them out to those. So.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, watch my channel then. There you go.
Yeah, if you're into like espionage stuff, he's your man.
There you go.
Yep. Well, yeah, check out Rebecca Gold and Dark Hour. It's your channel, so you've got to tell me to plug my shit.
Okay. The uninspired reviewer, plug your shit.
Oh, thank you so much, Dark Hour. Thank you. Well, as you people may know in the chat, I've got a show that I run with Dark Hour, of course, called Two Hoes. You may have heard of it. May have not.
Yeah, we might be on it right now.
That sounds
Maybe.
rude.
And so yeah, well, we're doing every week of December. So we've got next week, which is going to be Die Hard, and then the week after, which is going to be the 30th. So 23rd is going to be Die Hard, and the 30th is going to be Kevin Altieri. which is going to be pretty fun. So yeah,
it's gonna
check
be
out
That's
that.
going to be an interview. It's going to be a
Yeah,
little
it's going to
bit
be an interview. It's going to be a short one too, so like I think an hour and a half. But yeah, you'll show up, and we'll do a lot of more advertisements when the time comes. And for me, in terms of videos, I'm doing my top 10 horror movies you've probably never heard of. I hope that'll be
Last
out.
Jedi.
Oh, maybe. Well, I mean, everyone's heard of that one, but it would
It's a
be
horror
up there.
movie.
Nobody should be forced to watch that.
That's a horror movie.
But yeah, so I've got that one coming out soon, and then I wanted to release a review of a French film, so it would have been my first French film review, and it's a horror movie about spy. Oh,
Oop, we
what was
lost
that?
Rennie for a
Oh,
second.
we
but
lost
she's
him.
back.
Secret of comedy.
Granny's back.
I guess
Down.
Rennie, are you back?
She's a nipple,
Yes.
which we know.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I was gonna do my first French movie review, and the movie was supposed to come out on the 20th, but I don't know, there was an issue or something like that, so it's coming out on the 25th. So sadly, I have to travel for New Year's, and I probably won't be able to do the review before the end of the year. But it'll be my first review of 2024. So it's a spider horror movie. The spiders look fucking terrifying. It is pure nightmare fuel.
Oh, no, thank
It
you.
is like
Ooh.
I'm an arachnophobe, so you know it's gonna be
Oh, no,
horrible
thank
for me too. But yeah, I think
It's a new
that's pretty
film?
much it. Yeah, it's a new film. I'll just
Oh.
post the trailer in
Okay.
the
Yeah, you
thing,
should.
so.
Have you heard of He Never Died?
The one with the I've heard of that one actually.
It's really good. I'm quite
I've
surprised
heard of it.
nobody's reviewed that. It's a really good.
I've heard
movie.
it, but I've never seen it yet.
It's on Netflix. It's really good.
Yeah, and so so that's pretty much it for me actually. In the Dark Hour, I guess it's your turn to
Plug your shit.
Oh shit!
My shit.
It's
so
shit.
I'm not sure how I'm
It
going to
is.
pull this off because I travel for the holidays, but I'm going to try to do both Aquaman and Rebel Moon. I have a lot more time on my hands nowadays due to some life circumstance changes, so I might be able to pull it off.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah. But I'm going to at least do at minimum one of those two. One of them might come after the holiday, unfortunately, because I won't be, unless I like somehow figure out a way to do it while I'm like on the road. But other than that, just planning for 2024. You know what's gonna come. We have all this. You already mentioned all the stuff we have coming up for this show, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
But those
Yeah,
two
for-
movies, I'm not interested in seeing at all. Rebel Moon.
I'm interested in making fun of them. So
right, okay.
that's really
I
the
will
way
be
I'm going to do it.
watching Aquaman purely for the content.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to watch
Of
Aquaman.
his trousers.
Oh,
Which is-
Jason Momoa, how can you say no to that? What's wrong with
I
you
mean,
people?
Well, here's the thing: is I had my first time having two straight reviews or videos in general that got 5 figures worth of views. So, and my Godzilla one's still getting views. It's actually interesting. It's that
What,
has
5
legs to it.
5 people watched all.
No, 5 figures.
Oh,
Like-
wait, sorry. I thought you said 5 people.
and
I thought,
no,
what?
5 figures. And you know, it's still like by standards of like, you know, big professionals, that's nothing. But for, you know, a channel like mine, that's pretty good. So I figure I might as well do at least one or two of the. It sucks though because it's going to be ending the year on like a sour note when it was Godzilla -1 was such a good film.
Great
But,
movie,
like,
folks. Go see it.
Mhm. Yep, go see it. Biggest screen you can.
I haven't seen it yet.
Fantastic.
I've not seen
But
it.
yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So
Oh wait a minute.
Oh.
My film's on Netflix, by the way. So
Oh.
I forgot to plug that. There's a film
Okay,
called
well,
Bad Date.
okay, hold on, Mega Geek. We're
Yeah.
back to you to plug your shit again.
Well, I've got a film called Bad Day, and basically it's a cop movie, and it's a British film, and that's on Netflix, and in America it's on Tubi. So if
Okay.
you want to check that out, then check it out. Sorry, I forgot to
Yeah.
mention that. What an idiot. Anyway. Yeah.
That's good.
Put me
And
in the bin.
on that note, we'll thank the chat. Thank you all. And,
Yeah, thank you everyone in the chat, man. It's great to just see you guys spending. I mean, we've been going on for 3 hours 40, almost coming up to 4 hours, and it always just blows my
Wow.
mind how you guys decide to spend your time here. It's great,
that?
you know.
Somebody in
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
room.
someone just had like a demon in the
Not me.
background somewhere.
That sounded weird.
That wasn't me. But,
I'm sitting in my
yeah,
living
it's-
room.
Me too.
Uninspired
uh,
reviewer is on his litter tray.
Uh,
Moving on.
probably.
Anyway.
Scratching around.
But yeah, thank you guys in the chat, man. For me, I think time is one of the most precious things that we have, and the fact that you guys spend, a chunk of it watching and
Brilliant.
being with us and talking with us in the chat, it just means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to Dark Hour as well. But so yeah, thank you guys so much. Yeah, I guess yeah. On that note, Dark Hour, you've got the outro right because I always fuck it up.
Yep, I'm on it.
All right. See you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.